It is Tuesday. You know what that means? It's Show Me the Money Club live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We also have an audio version of the podcast playing on all major podcasting platforms. So if you can't watch the show live with us and be in the chat, you can listen to it or watch the replay. So today we have a packed show. We have Zach from Zach Drives Fast on. He's going to be talking a little bit beforehand. We're going to go into some other aspects when it comes to a lot of different things. So we're going to be talking about Lyft's upfront pay. We got Lyft laid off some of their workforce. They are going to a in-person support, chat support versus actual in support with their latest earnings statement, or I'm sorry, earnings call that just happened. Not looking good for Lyft. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, we're going to be talking about upfront earnings in a lot of detail. We're going to go over a lot of stuff with upfront earnings coming up today. So if you want to know anything about upfront earnings, upfront pay, this is the show to watch right now, because we're going to be breaking down all of that, what to look for, what's going to be profitable for you, and, you know, looking at some other stuff there. We're also going to be looking, if we have time, we're going to be talking about how Uber's expansion in global markets, and they're not necessarily legal. So we're going to be talking about that, Dasher Direct, and also highlighting today's side hustle. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Sergio, what's up? And Zach, thank you for coming on, hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Zach, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm a huge fan of yours, truly. So, but I got to give a shout out to Tony. I see him all the time. He's from Australia. He's watching live in Australia now. Hey, Tony, I have emailed with him. You know, he keeps me up with what's happening down under with Uber and the gig companies. So thank you, Tony.
Nice. Shout out to Tony.
So Zach, I've been watching your channel. Zach has a YouTube channel, which I'm sure is in the show notes. Please go subscribe. To be honest, I think he's one of my top 2 or 3, besides ourselves, of course, channels that I really, really pay attention to. The rest being a little bit of fluff and a little bit of clickbait, whatever they are, they are. He doesn't put too many videos out, but when he does put a video out, it's so well done that
Thank you.
You cannot not watch it. Now, so I'm going to give the microphone to you and introduce yourself and give us a little bit about your past, what you do in the beautiful state of Washington, and tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Zach. Like Sergio said, I have a channel called Zach Drives Fast. I have been on YouTube for just under a year now, I believe 10 months. I am about 25 miles south of the Canadian border in Bellingham, Washington. I've been driving for Doordash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, more recently Sparked, Roadie. I've been in the gig economy for about 3 years now. So I am a single parent, so I do gig type of work because it, fits in with being a custodial single parent.
Yeah, that's one of the, obviously the flexibility, right, is one of the
absolutely
most important parts when it comes to the gig world. And a few weeks ago we had, I'm sure there are other YouTubers as well, Driven Dad, Driven Mom, Tony and Lisa.
Yeah.
You're a single parent. They have 5 kids.
I don't know how they do it. Yeah, Tony and Lisa are great folks.
Yeah, they are, and they homeschool them on top of that. So without the gig economy's flexibility, right, you can't do it, right?
For sure.
But as we know, gig economy is, well, you mostly, or not mostly, only do deliveries, correct? So you have probably Doordash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, and Spark, and a few other ones. So tell us about all the apps that you have on your phone.
Yeah, I've got Doordash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Spark, Roadie. I have Instacart, but I don't touch it. It's a whole separate rant for another day. And I feel like I'm missing one, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But my main 3 are Doordash, Uber Eats, and Spark at this point.
Okay. So when you said you've been involved in 3 years, obviously you went through the pandemic with these, or maybe you started doing these because of the pandemic, because you needed a job, or did you have a W-2 background? Or tell us a little bit about that how you made the transition from a regular employment gig versus, because one of your latest videos, I think, was exactly talking about this issue that we, employment versus IC, right? So Correct. Tell us how you transitioned and why you transitioned and all that stuff.
So at the time, I was working a W-2 and had a really shitty manager. Just massive conflicts frequently. One of those people that you just could never please. And so, yeah, it was right towards the beginning of the lockdowns in my state. And I wanted to find something to kind of start moving myself away from that specific team. Because if I were to transition to a different team at that job, I would, lose hours. And I couldn't really do that. So I started driving on my days off and after I got off work. And I quickly was like, oh, shit, I'm making more doing this than W-2 job. So the hours slowly got cut back. And that's, how I got where I am.
Right. I mean, a lot of people are in the gig world, right? 1 in 6 Americans at some point or another have tried gig work. Look, I am obviously, we're a gig centric channel, right? Gig economy, and without the gig economy, a lot of people would be out of a job, basically. I mean, that they're,
For sure.
look, most people don't do this for full time, right?
Mhm.
I mean, numbers say that only about 20% of all the gig workers are full time, 80% are, part time, but the 20% do 80% of the work and 80%
Yeah.
right? So I mean, it's just like regular corporate stuff, right?
Yeah.
But so when you do your gig work, like what are your hours? I know you said you're a single parent. What apps do you use the most as far as delivery, food delivery basically is concerned, and which ones are the strongest in your market?
So I try to get my son to school in the morning. The weather depending, the bus can also pick him up. But if I do take him to school in the morning, I do Spark for the first usually 3 to 4 hours of my morning, and then I try to transition into more Uber Eats, but I'll leave all of them running and just kind of whoever sends me the best offer. Um, Spark, for example, tends to get particularly slow in the later afternoon, and then the store gets kind of slammed. So becomes a little bit less lucrative with the wait times. So I tend to stick more to multi-apping DoorDash and Uber Eats in the evenings.
Okay. So you said multi-apping, so obviously you're not in the camp of top dashers
I am not.
because you're not, right? I know you don't give advice on your channel or you don't try to pull and push people one way or the other. We just try to do the same thing here to a point, obviously. If you stick around, you're going to hear my rant. but I love your rants, right? So when you do these things, with about DoorDash being the, elephant in the room, obviously. I mean,
Mhm.
they have 60% market share. I don't know how it is in your city, but in pretty much every city they have the lead when it comes to food delivery. So because of this, actually, I started doing deliveries in my city for the last 4 months, pretty much.
Mhm.
And I've found out what the game is all about. So, but I'm not going to do that because you're the pro here. I'm just still an amateur, still testing the waters. Although my numbers are amazing, but still testing the waters, learning the game. So, tell us about where, DoorDash was during the pandemic, right? Or Uber Eats, obviously. I think Grubhub is like Lyft of rideshare. Grubhub is like, why is it even there, right? So to
It's
me,
filler
maybe
work.
it's different in your city, but in most cities it's not. So tell us a little bit about that, the differences you saw during the pandemic.
Mhm.
How much, I mean, if you can want to share with us how much money you were making per week on
Yeah.
these apps versus now, and what you're seeing as far as the marketplace is concerned.
Yeah. So I would try to stick to Grubhub during the lockdowns. That was before Just Eat screwed them up. And the amount of money I would make on every order would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 to $40, depending on if it was a double or a single. The trade-off there was obviously that their wait times were and kind of still are atrocious. So, but when you're making $40 for 2 orders coming from the same restaurant, in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal to wait 20, 30 minutes to pick up an order. Um, I started with just DoorDash, and they were just nonstop. I could turn on my app at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and it would just be crazy. and I could make $100 in 4 or 5 hours on DoorDash, pretty much any day of the week. I mean, obviously Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be, the good orders,
Right.
but there was no really slow time. So when I moved more away from DoorDash and into Grubhub, I was making about 1,200-ish a week, give or take, and that was on top of a full-time job. So now it's definitely less. However, I'm also earning money from other sources at this point.
Right.
So I'm not as reliant on being out in the car driving, although that is still a substantial part of my income.
So how many hours a week do you drive still?
I would say I drive about maybe 20 to 30 hours a week, as opposed to the probably 50 I did before.
Right. So, but you have to make days to nap,
Of course.
correct?
Yeah, massively.
Because I don't know. See, everybody says the same thing, but I mean, I don't know if you follow DoorDash or Uber or Lyft. Their earnings calls, if they're whatever the money making or money losing ambitions they have.
Yep.
DoorDash had its best quarter supposedly as far as numbers are concerned. They squeezed 27% more than the quarter before as far as delivered orders into the system.
Yeah.
Now that has something to do, obviously, with the marketing that they pushed, like last few months. Oh, if you're top dasher, you get this, like the typical carrot and the stick that we're used to in the rideshare world. But now I'm kind of learning that the same thing exists in all gig companies, right? They have good parts and they have bad parts. So
Of
for
course.
us to talk about this, top dasher versus side dasher versus, all the fun and games that they pull, the diamond status and all that good stuff, right? So explain to our audience what they are and what your opinion is about these things.
Okay. So I am not at all in favor of Top Dasher. DoorDash themselves on their website does not make the claim it gives you better orders. So whoever is pushing that hasn't done the research. If DoorDash isn't claiming it, it isn't happening, straight up. As far as the Diamond program, the high pay order program, my market was one of the first in the country to get that. And I did a video where I tested it out. And at the time, what they were doing was they were pardon me, they were claiming that you would get $2 a mile. But the keyword was during delivery. So if you had to drive 8 miles to the restaurant, but then from the restaurant to the customer was $2 a mile, they would show that like badge. So I saw, I put up a couple screenshots in that video that were like $4.75 for 6-8 miles. So, I mean, not only was it not $2 a mile, it was less than $1 a mile. My personal opinion from what I've seen in that program and my own personal experience in it, it's the exact same orders that everybody's pulling from. Just if you have a higher acceptance rate, you're going to get the diamond on your screen. But the guy, 20 feet away from you in the parking lot who has a 2% acceptance rate stands just as high of a chance of getting that order as the next guy.
So nobody has cracked the algorithm as a lot of these gig tubers claim, right?
The way that the DoorDash app works, I'm not even convinced that they know how their app works, let alone somebody on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I only have Uber Eats in my market. I apply for DoorDash and Grubhub, but I'm on a waiting list, obviously. I want to test it myself, but I'm pretty sure. Look, the discussion of cherry picking versus anting has been going around since the start of rideshare 12 years ago, and I've been only cherry picking all my career, right? And there are people who ant. I mean, look, everybody has their own opinions. Everybody has figured it out. Whatever works for them, it works for them. But I don't see any reason to accept garbage orders for DoorDash, and for them to squeeze 27% more orders into their system and still lose a couple $100 million. So, like, I think after that last quarter, with all the positive stuff that they came out, and still hasn't made any money. So I have this vision for your dashers out there that DoorDash one day is going to turn into, base pay of 50 cents and work for tips kind of a situation. Do you think that's going to happen?
Absolutely. So I've said it multiple times in videos. I could see it. I've personally used the number of $1, but if they could get away with not paying us any base pay whatsoever, they absolutely, they exploit that to the fullest extent that they could. So certainly, I mean, hell, Uber just lowered my base pay here about a week back. Absolutely, they're going to keep lowering it and lowering it, right? And I constantly have people all over the country in the comments saying, "Oh, DoorDash just lowered my base pay another quarter," and they don't tend to go through and just do a wide sweep. They tend to go through and pick 2 or 3 markets here and there, lower those by a quarter, and then go and screw with somebody else's market. So sure, eventually that's coming.
Yeah, because we called it a couple of weeks ago nickel and diming the drivers, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen. I mean, oiling the frog slowly, nobody's going to feel it. Look, as long as there are people who are willing to take $2 orders and deliver them at a loss, because in my market we have Prop 22, there's some sort of protection. Not that it's a great thing, but because Prop 22, I believe, has killed the delivery market in California for the fact that people accept everything, and has killed tips because they're almost guaranteed 22, 23 bucks an hour anyway. So they just go take those $2 to $3 trash orders, and then I'm like, damn, that's just horrible.
And the customers
I mean, it doesn't make business sense.
The customers have been taught that they can tip like shit or not at all and still get their order delivered.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's a bigger problem than that, because it's the drivers who are allowing that to happen to themselves.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
well, I think the churn and burn and turnover rates have a lot to do with that, right? Because the
of
new guys,
course,
until they churn and burn or burn themselves out, until they learn, DoorDash has taken advantage of them, have them deliver hundreds and hundreds of orders for a couple of bucks anyway. But it's like we can transition a little bit to your look. I don't butter people up. I think you do amazing work with your videos. And the one previous to last video, you had about this situation, when it comes to employment versus flexibility and independent contractor status, right?
Correct.
Walk us through. By the way, that video I just checked got like only 3,200 views or 3,500 views. That video should have like 350,000 views. Okay. I mean, I tweeted it. I think that's so well done. And please, everybody, go to Zach's channel and watch that video and subscribe, please. I mean, he does really, really good work. And he's one of these guys that just, calls it the way he sees it. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, tough shit. He's not for you. So, but talk us a little, through about that issue and the video that you made. And I think it's a really, really important thing. So
thank you. Yeah, I think it's unfortunately one of those subjects that people are just, they make the assumption that it's just not going to happen, and they don't realize that that's not really an option. It is going to happen. It's written. The only thing that's left is the final draft, if you will, of the rule change. So I'm sure your audience is very well aware of what's going on, but for anybody who isn't, the Department of Labor is proposing a rule change that would see many independent contractors, not just gig workers, but independent contractors, period. Not all, but I digress. Reclassified as W-2 employees. And that essentially, in my eyes, would take away pretty much every freedom that we've enjoyed as independent contractors. And I went through several different scenarios on what that could potentially look like. And at the end of the day, I didn't find anything that is particularly promising if that proposal gets enacted. It's a scary prospect for rideshare drivers, food drivers, some nurses, like a whole slew of professions, right? Like we lose the fundamental things that we love about doing gig work.
Well, I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a minute or two, right? So all these gig workers, they love the flexibility, they love the freedom, but I'm not sure they look at their bottom line correctly or enough to figure out, why am I doing this? Am I just doing this because I love doing it whenever I want to do it? But personally speaking, I wouldn't do anything in life if I don't think I'm going to be profitable at it. Now, that's my attitude as far as running a small business, because I look at this as a small business. So, my question to you would be, is really flexibility that important to the point to defend this, even if you're doing this almost like a public service when you're taking those $2, $3 orders, right? Because we can't convert those people to be cherry pickers. They're going to do what they're going to do. And the same happens in rideshare, by the way. So is that really, I mean, have all these people who want to stay as independent contractors understand what they're giving up on the other side as if they were W-2s with all the benefits and rights that comes with employment?
So to make sure I'm understanding the question correctly, I believe what you're asking is there a way that we could reach these people to show them the importance of this?
Yes, but also why is being an employee so bad? That's what, because the algorithm is your boss. They're watching you anyway. They
Sure.
can fire you on any time, any way they want, call
Yeah,
deactivation. So why is being an independent contractor so important to you?
that's a good question. So in that video, I gave a lot of statistics that were from Pew Research. And like you and I had talked about earlier, the vast majority of people who do gig work do it less than it's like 20% or something like that, less than 20% that do this full time. And the vast majority of people that are in gig work have another source of income. And out of those people who do have another source of income, it's like 50 something percent of them, almost 60% of those people say that doing gig work is either essential or important for them to meet their basic human needs. So when you start taking away the ability for them to make their money the way that they choose to and start issuing them schedules, that's going to wipe millions of people out of that space just like that. They're gone.
Right. No,
So
I obviously am in the independent contractor
mhm,
camp, but I think every driver should figure out if why they're doing this. I mean, they can just put the label on, yeah, I'm independent contractor, this and that, but at some point you have to figure out your profitability. You have to figure out, what you're doing. There's a lot of talk about in the, delivery world or the, Doordash world, let's say, oh, $2 a mile to this. But, I believe a lot of drivers do a lot of dead miles going back to where they were. I mean,
of
it's
course.
not just what the order comes in as. You got to figure out your profitability, how many
Mhm,
total miles you drove that day, all these things. And I think DoorDash obviously is not going to educate them about that, but a lot of channels, decent channels, are out there like yourselves, like us, that we're trying to educate and inform people who don't do this willy nilly. Just treat it like a business, right?
for
What would you
sure.
say about that? Do you agree with that?
I completely agree with that. And to add to your point, most drivers don't actually know what their true cost to operate is. They don't factor in their actual gas prices. You can, sure, you can use the federal deduction or whatever, but they don't know what they're putting into their gas tank, and they don't know how that affects their profitability. They don't know how much it costs them for car maintenance, right? There's so many factors that go into it. So I mean, I could go out and I could make $30 an hour, right, on the weekends, but I didn't actually make $30 an hour. I made something like 19 to 21 after you factor in my expenses, right? And eventually that car is going to break down, and I'm going to have to replace it. So there's always another expense, right? And I think that finding that true profit is a lot harder than people realize. There's just so many variables that play into it.
Right. No, I agree with you that, a lot of people do this just to do it. I think,
Mhm,
to pay some short-term bills, I mean, we know what the macroeconomic conditions are,
mhm.
which doesn't seem like it's hurting these gig companies because more people than ever are in the gig world now, as far as rideshare drivers or delivery drivers, because inflation is hurting everybody, and they need to make a few extra hundred, bucks cash a week to pay their bills because their
Mhm.
W-2s are not sufficient. But
Sure.
yeah, no, I'm in the IC camp as you are.
Mhm.
So, I watched all your videos, right? And then I love the way you rant, right? So
Thank
give me your best rant when it comes to DoorDash or Uber Eats, for a couple of minutes.
you. DoorDash is a evil corporation that will stomp all over you, and will try to get you to take shit order after shit order. And the only way to avoid that is to be more evil than they are.
And how do you do
So,
that? How do you do that?
cherry pick. Don't take shit orders. Don't get walked on. Don't let them treat you like an employee when you're not. Because at the time of this stream, we're still independent contractors, and we don't have to take anything we don't want to take.
Well, that's the thing with DoorDash, right? Because if you're not a top dasher, you can't log on and go. At least on Uber Eats, you can log on and go anytime you want.
Correct.
So to me, it's like, treat me like a true independent contractor with full transparency, with this
Hmm.
tip hiding bullshit and all that stuff, right? To me, it's like treat me like that you call me. Don't treat me like an employee and then call me an independent contractor. And that's where they're going to get all the regulation coming down.
In one of those videos, I had I had drawn the connection between exactly what you're talking about, how they're releasing all these pilot programs like Top Dasher and the high pay order program, and at the end of the day, it's just to get their bullshit orders delivered. They're $2.75 orders delivered without having to actually pay us any more for them. So that, in my opinion, is why you can't dash now, and that is why DoorDash is a background app for me compared to like Uber Eats or Spark.
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up pretty well, because all these companies, the way they want to make money is completely opposite of the way you want to make money.
Of course.
And in this world of everybody looks out for themselves, and if you were DoorDash, I don't think you would do anything differently. And if I was Uber, I don't think I would do anything differently. Although maybe you would do certain things differently if you were DoorDash. But in the world of apps and algos, I mean, look, they gotta try to make money, and ultimately, the fact that they have never made a red cent. I mean, I'm talking true profitability, not EBITDA profitability, right?
Right.
And there's all these 3 companies announced earnings this week. They still haven't made any money. So maybe, remember, Chris, we had Professor Sherman on, and he goes, in order to make money, you have to be in a really good business. Maybe, these people are in a really shit business, which is food delivery or rideshare, like cabs. Those businesses historically never, ever had high margins anyway. So the best algos, the best computers, the best scientists, they cannot squeeze blood out of the rock, and they'll probably never be profitable. So what do you say to that?
Let me interject real quick. The thing I would say is the only one I think that could potentially would be Uber, because they're so much more than just rideshare or food delivery. They have a lot going on, but then their algorithms now are, like we talked about, the nickel and diming, how much just a nickel extra could make them on their bottom line every month, every quarter, every single year. So I think they could get to a point where they could actually become profitable. These other companies, though, I'm not sure, including DoorDash.
I can see your point there, Chris, because I know with Uber, right, I can order an Uber and food to my house, the same app, right? It's convenient. They have, I guess I'm maybe a little bit biased because I actually like driving for Uber Eats, and I do not particularly enjoy driving for DoorDash most of the time. So there certainly is some bias there. But Sergio, to answer your question, overall, yeah, I would say that they're going to keep. Everybody knows who DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub are. I don't think that their advertising campaign, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think that their advertising campaigns are to tell new customers that they exist. It's to remind people that they're hungry and they can order right now. So I think that they're going to keep putting out massive amounts of money. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I would question if they'll ever be profitable. I think Grubhub was once, and other than that, to the best of my knowledge, nobody in the States has been, and hasn't been since.
Now, I got two questions for you. Do you think that with the way Uber's set up, because they have more than just food delivery or even just rideshare, what do you think about, say, DoorDash and Lyft combining to become one? Do you think something like that could ever make one of those companies, whoever's the successor to that, actually be profitable? Or do you think it's just they're in a dying business with low profit margins?
I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens with Grubhub and Amazon before I think I could give any sort of an educated guess on that. I think it would be interesting, but I don't think I could give you an honest opinion on what I could see happening at this point if something like that were to transpire.
Gotcha. And then my last question when it comes to this. Yep, you're back on. You were only off for a second. So my last, just to let everybody know real quick, there is some internet issues going on. So storms, the polls going on. There's a lot of things going on the internet right now. So if we cut out from time to time, We're going to try to stay on, finish the show just to let you know. So if you see us like fall off or anything like that, each one of us has had some sort of internet connection issue, just to let you know, be aware. Also, for those who are joining in, we are on with Zach from Zach Drives Fast. He's got his own YouTube channel, mostly dealing with the food delivery and delivery side of the gig economy, but still on. So again, thank you again for Zach coming on. But I wanted to ask you one question. What's your thoughts on this whole no trip, no tip, or no tip, no trip movement that people have been, talking about with gig economy and delivering that?
I agree with it. We're not getting paid an hourly rate, and $2.75 in my market isn't going to get me anywhere. At the end of the day, that's less than $3, man. That's not even a gallon of gas here. So I agree with it. I'm sorry. Like, if you want to, it's a service. It's a service at the end of the day. And we don't work for free. I understand that if you go to a restaurant, you see how the service is first, but they're also making something an hour, whereas we're not. So yeah, completely. If I see a no tip order, I'm not taking it.
Yeah, great. So Zach,
very well put.
Thank you so much for coming on. Seriously, everybody, please go watch his videos. He does really good editing, but besides that, the topics are, all hard hitting, and then he doesn't hold back. That's what I like about it, and there's no sugarcoating with Zach. So look, if you want to hang out with us, you're more than welcome to.
We do have one topic though that we'd love to have you on for.
Yeah,
if you wanted to, depending on what you want to do, it's up to you. So if you want to continue hanging out with us, you can. If you got other stuff going on, we understand. But the Doordash card is now coming out. So what's your thought? First off, what's your thoughts on these cards that these companies are putting out? Because we have the Lyft Direct card, we have the Uber Pro card, we have now the Dasher card, and all of these other cards that these companies are trying to get. What's your thoughts on this? And are you going to sign up for one of these cards, whether it's DoorDash, Uber Eats? What's your thoughts? Let us know.
I'm not going to sign up for them. I actually know nowhere near as much about this as I probably should, considering the niche I'm in. So take this with a grain of salt. For me, I just want to keep my bank. Having said that, I understand that like for a while there, DoorDash was doing 10% cash back with like Dasher Direct. I can understand the motivation to want to use a card like that. And if I'm not mistaken, at least with that specific app, you can switch back and forth between your payment methods with each cash out. So if you were planning on getting, gas or something like that, I could certainly understand why somebody would want to do it. But for me, I have a high yield savings account and investments that I would rather have my money go into rather than something with a DoorDash branded logo on it. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I looked into, there was an article actually on our blog, Chris, that one of the contributors did. And I did not know, by the way, that instant cash out, used to be 50 cents with both Lyft and Uber when it was going up to 85 cents. With DoorDash, it's like $1.99. I mean, I'm like, what? $1.99. So DoorDash actually, if you were, doing the instant cash out or whatever it's called with DoorDash, it's probably better to get this card, right? And then pay $1.99 every time, because they're going to basically do what Uber Pro card is doing or the Lyft card is doing. Every time you do a delivery, it's going to automatically get credited free into this card. I haven't read the small print. Uber has some issues with it. Yes, with this card, you can, I think it's by Stride, and you can get your, if you find an ATM that's free cash, you can get your cash free. But then I think I didn't find the, bank transfers, how much they're going to cost each time you do that versus that $1.99. But if you're saving $1.99 every time, let's say if you're cashing out 2-3 times a week, that's $6-8, $4, whatever. I think it's probably out of the 3 cards that this may be the best one, that you're saving $1.99 as opposed to anything else. You're not alone in that opinion, Zach, that most drivers I talk to, they're not going to get the Lyft card or the Uber card. You know,
Oh, same here.
I'm because I don't
Yeah,
want
I'm
them
right
to
there in
know
the.
yeah, you're not either, right? So, I mean, to me, it's like, you know, they know enough about me already. They know where I drive, when I drive, what I do, or, you know, who I drive with, where I, you know, what passenger. And now they want to know where I spend my money. And I'm like, no, I think you know enough about me. I think it's just don't touch my money.
Sure. I think at the end of the day, you know, it boils down to somebody's financial situation, and they may find a lot of benefit in the no fee withdrawals, you know, or the 10% cash back when they were doing it. But for me personally, yeah, I agree with you. I don't want anything with a branded logo on it for driving company.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Same here.
Well, not
So,
only that, but the benefits that they claim that they offer aren't even that great. Like, to me, I look at them, I'm like, I would never really use them. Like, even the percent cash back, I could either use Upside, which if I gotta get gas around here, or I just drive down to the Union Reservation and my gas is 35 cents cheaper there. So it's like there's no benefit for me to even do it, because I look at it and I'm like, I don't care about snacks. Like, I'm trying to eat healthier, so you know, that type of thing. And then I that means I have to spend money to get the snacks. To me, it's just not worth it. Anyway.
I do the
yeah,
same thing. Yeah, I do the same thing
snacks
you
are not
do.
even free, bro. Snacks are not even free. I have to buy something on Uber Eats to get some Slurpee at 7-Eleven. That's bullshit. I don't like that.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Hey, I am going to take off and check in on how my son did at school
Cool.
today. I really appreciate you
Okay.
guys having me on. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you again, Zach. Make sure you check out Zach Drives Fast. Link to his channel is going to be in the description. You can check out his YouTube channel. And thank you again, Zach, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Zach.
Have a
You're
good
the
day.
man. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
Oh, all right. There we
Okay,
go.
The wind start. Okay, hold on. I gotta adjust something. This wind is killing me. Am I off or on?
No, you're on. When
Okay.
he clicked away, I was gonna hit remove, and then he clicked away just before I hit remove. So
Oh, okay.
you went
Give me 1
off, and then I
second.
got you back on. So you're all good. All right. So yes, everybody watching, thank you for hanging out. Again, that was Zach from Zach Drives Fast. We got what 150 something people right now watching. Smash the like button. Give us a thumbs up for Zach. Plus, what we're going to be talking about today, we have upfront pay coming from Lyft. We have Lyft's horrible earnings call, in my opinion, leading to layoffs, leading to closing of hubs, things like that. So we're going to be talking about that coming up. We also got talking about Lyft earnings exactly, what's going on the last couple of days. Not so great there. We have Uber and Lyft's upfront destination. We're going to do a full breakdown coming up on that. We got some great key information that you guys are going to want. We've gotten so many screenshots from everybody sending their screenshots from all over the place. So we appreciate that, because we're going through them. We're trying to plug them in to see, you know, how much of a pay cut there might be. Are you getting more money? Where is that sweet spot? We're trying to figure out all of that information. We're going to go down exactly what you need to look out for when it comes to these upfront destination filter rides, so you know exactly what you need to really pay attention to. You don't need to look at everything, so we're going to be looking at that. And then our side hustle, and depending on how time goes, maybe a couple other topics in there. So Sergio's back. Thank you.
Yes.
What's going on?
The roof is still there. So, bro, I've never seen this much
That's
wind.
good.
I've never seen this much wind in LA.
You know what's crazy?
Holy shit.
Maybe. Well, you know what's crazy? So we had. What's up?
Uber knows we're about to call them out. Maybe Dara ordered a windstorm on top of my house.
You're trying to get hands going. It's all right. We're okay over here, so we're going to continue calling them out no matter what. But
there we go.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. First off, today is the poll day, so everybody, hopefully you went out and voted, got your votes in. It's almost 7 o'clock East Coast, so some places are going to start reporting soon. It's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening. But we're not getting political. This isn't the political show. This is the Show Me the Money Club show. So we are going to be talking about money. That's what we want to make. That's what we want to get. So first off, let's talk about Lyft and their upfront pay model is now out.
Yes. I'm gonna read some of this because there is lingo in here that I think they copied exactly from Uber, but whatever it is, it is.
Probably.
No, they did. The adjustment thing, right? I'm really like getting really ticked off about this adjustment issue. So upfront pay is here, Sergio. Hey, how are you? Okay, no, whatever. Now you can see what you'll make, where you go. Great, wonderful, long time coming. Thank you, Lyft. We appreciate it. Very much. You followed Uber about a month after they released it in LA anyway. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about is in LA. So what I would love for you guys to do, and whoever's watching live now, or watching actually but not commenting, or what's going to watch later, please bombard the comments section after you put the like. Of course, it's just a little tap, people, of what's happening in your city when it comes to upfront screwings. Oh, did I say upfront screwings? No, it's upfront earnings, right? Or is it upfront screwings? I changed the name. I changed the name, Chris, to upfront screwing.
It's
upfront earnings.
I'm okay with that. We're gonna go hashtag upfront screwing.
The hashtag upfront screwings. Yeah.
I thought they had to buy me dinner first before they.
Yeah, exactly. What happened to the gentleman-like thing, right? Uber and Lyft. Come on now. We're on a date here. You just guys, right up there. Come on now. So, they announced it, and in fact, it was last Tuesday when we got it. Me and Chris, we turned our phones on and, got this wonderful news that Lyft is joining the party 10 years later. Thank you, Lyft. We appreciate it.
Late as usual.
Yeah, but better late than never. You know what I mean? So, on the right-hand side, on the screenshot, you always receive the earnings you were shown up front. Okay, thank you. Unless there is, now, with bold letters, they go, unless there is a significant change to the ride. Chris, what is significant for you, buddy?
I will tell you, I know exactly this is satirical, but it's probably true. If you end the trip 50 feet beforehand, there's an adjustment because that's a significant change. So they're going to adjust your rate down. As long as you drop off at the spot you were supposed to, that's the fare you're going to get. But 5 minutes, mile and a half down the road past where you had to go, that's where they're going to start adjusting upward. So that's the significant change, in my opinion. That's just based on screenshots and things that I've seen. So take it for what it's worth. I cannot actually back that up besides from my own sites and my own vision of seeing these screenshots.
Yeah, I agree with this one thing, that I am not buying this significant, or in Uber's case, they said a lot. They used the word a lot. I am not public service, people. I want to get paid for every inch I drive, because you're not paying me enough to drive an extra mile and 5 minutes on the house. This is not charity, Uber and Lyft. I'm trying to make money here just like you are. Don't dump your shit on me. Significant, a lot, does not exist in my world. Do you want me to kick the passenger out exactly where I'm supposed to? No. Okay, well, you got to give me more money, whatever significant means, because you took away the miles and minutes now. Now your wonderful algo, is not figuring out things by miles and minutes. It's figuring out by some magic potion it has in its black box algorithm of itself, right? So the significant or a lot, I am not buying. In that case, we really have to work on this, Chris. We need to fix this. This is bullshit. In that case, we'll adjust your earnings after the ride is complete. Okay, wonderful. For example, if a rider adds a stop in app, or if the ride ends up being much longer than expected, Chris.
Define much longer.
Significant. Then we'll increase your earnings. What the F is much longer? Mile, 2, 5, charity? How much more? Lyft?
Yeah, seriously, but here's the thing though. How many times have you gone?
Bullshit.
Hold on. Here's the thing. How many times have you gone and somebody puts in an address and then they're like, oh, for some like the map is messed up, and then they're like, oh, can you? It's down the street a little bit further, and then it's like another block or two. Sometimes it could be even more than that. But at that point, you're driving for free, because that is, to me, in my thoughts, much longer has not been achieved, and they're doing that on purpose. But again, take it on the flip side. If you end the thing just a little short, you know for sure they are going to adjust your ride down for 50 feet. We've seen it.
Yeah, we saw the screenshot on that. Remember when Tony and Lisa were on? The guy dropped off at the right terminal, but the GPS or the algo did not read it correctly, deducted 36 cents from the guy. So your algo is good enough to figure out that I stopped at an earlier terminal than where I'm supposed to drop off, let's say at an airport. But now, significant, or they add an in-stop app, or if the ride ends up being much longer, I have to be okay with that upfront fare. No, stick it. I'm not going to do it. Seriously, I may quit just rideshare driving altogether, because this shit's going to keep happening. Because we're going to see in a minute, none of these people who are ordering long trips are getting picked up, because the pay is down 30%, maybe more. And what they do is they order a short trip, get in your car, extended trip. You are screwed at that point, because if you don't fit any of these, any of this lingo. And seriously, whoever's watching this at Lyft, please clarify this. This is not a joke. It may be a joke to you with a pinky swear Lyft, but this is not a joke to me. Significant or much longer. I am not a charity. I'm running on gas. I'm wasting my brakes and tires. You guys need to look into this and fix this, Lyft. And I know you guys are watching. So I'm fired
at the
up
very next,
because this is bullshit.
Look at the next paragraph, though. Factors that don't significantly change the ride won't be adjusted for. This includes making a stop that wasn't added in app, or a minor detour.
Whatever that means.
Does that mean, so hey, here's the thing. Now, if somebody says, hey, do you mind stopping at the gas station for me so I can go grab something? My answer is going to be hell no. I don't get paid for that now.
Yeah, I know. This is a huge deal. I get more emails about this. Oh, I got stuck in traffic for a half hour. It didn't get updated, adjusted upwards. Oh, I drove another 3 miles. It didn't get it. People, Lyft, Uber. This is in both your cases. Uber, you're not getting a free run here. You're doing the same thing. You guys, honestly, I interviewed Sachin Kansal like a week ago or 10 days ago. Wonderful gentleman. I'm going to try to have him come on, or Andrew McDonald, who's head of mobility, come out here and answer these questions, because putting this in my app is not enough for me. I need to know what the adjustment is based on, and I need to know when your algo is going to pick up my adjustment. Is it going to be after half a mile? A mile? What do these words mean? Significant to me means a lot, like at least few miles. And on the right after that sentence, it says a lot, much longer. What does that mean? To me, in English, much longer means much longer, like more than a mile or 2 or 3, which I'm not willing to drive for free. I'm just not. Seriously.
Yep.
So that's it. That's here. There's upfront screwing for you from Lyft, and upfront screwing from Uber. How's pay calculated? Okay, we know how it's calculated. It's a wonderful thing. Pick up how many drivers there are at the pickup point, how many there are at the destination point. And if that was the case, and why are long trips being cut 30 to 40%? I'm not sure. We're going to see it in a minute in a video and screenshots. This is the fun part with Lyft. Uber didn't say this, but this is Lyft, of course, has to say this. One of the best strategies is to stay busy and earning by accepting all the ride requests you receive. Who wrote this?
No.
Look, no.
I've said it before. We just put out a short because we were, kind of teasing today.
I love that short, by the way. That was a great short.
Thanks. But that's the whole thing. It's like, if you, I will go on record right now, again, for the third or fourth time. If you price the ride correctly, I will take the trip.
Yep.
If you want me to take 100% of the rides, price it accordingly, price it correctly. I won't have a problem. I'll accept my acceptance rate will go from, the low 40s right now back up to 100%. I'll be okay.
Yep. So you did this in the short. Please go watch that short. His editing is really awesome. And also, he's hitting on all the points in 60 seconds. So we interviewed the Uber CEO 3 months ago. We interviewed John Zimmer president of Lyft, a month ago. Both of them unequivocally said they're on our channel. It is public information. They're in YouTube land. We're not going to take those videos down. So they both said it's on us if the driver acceptance rates are going down, if the drivers are not taking trips. It's on us because we are not pricing trips correct. You guys are not pricing trips correctly, period. So please price trips correctly, and don't give this advice to some newbie that sits here and says, oh yeah, I'm going to make more money if I accept everything. No, please do not take any of these garbage trips that you see. Please don't. I'm not telling all the Formica to become cherry pickers overnight, but please look at your bottom line. You're in this for you. You're not in this for anything else. This is not public service, people. And these people want us to drive for free significantly if things change significantly. I'm like, no, not going to happen, Lyft. So please come on my show and explain this to me. I'm an idiot, right? Come on, explain it to me, what significant means, what a lot means. If it's half a mile, maybe I'm willing to drive for free for half a mile. But anything after that, no, sir, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my gas because your passenger changed the destination. And then the last beautiful paragraph is our data shows that drivers with upfront pay who accepted almost all of their ride requests typically had higher hourly earnings than those who were more selective. That comes to me. I'm the cherry picker here.
I like the little asterisk there, because for a fact they have to correct themselves in that asterisk, because that's not true. We've seen it, on multiple different tests, that those who cherry pick actually are more. What was that one study that they just did? Those who cherry picked by almost like 10%.
If you cherry pick, you're going to make more money.
By $10.
I mean, look, that's been the story for the last 10 years. Cherry pickers make more money, period. They less wear and tear on their car, period. It's a given. It's not a question any longer. And the beautiful thing, look, a lot of drivers I know, they drive higher platforms such as Excel, Lux Black. Guess what, people? You guys are not immune. Upfront pay is coming to those platforms as well. Time to suffer for you guys too, not just the standard Lyft drivers or the guys that do shared rides. So to me, this is the new thing. It's coming. So get ready for it. And from me, I don't like it. I mean, I love the transparency part where they show the destination, right? Long time coming.
But everything else is murkier.
Whatever, in exchange, what I'm giving up is a lot, Chris. I mean, I've done rides and I figured it out already that this is a fair cut. This is not funny. And to me, it's like, we're going to go into it now, obviously, but I don't like this fair cut. And all this rebalancing, I don't like. Uber's CEO saying it's revenue neutral. It is not revenue neutral, sir. I mean, it's not for me anyway. I know you have all the numbers. Maybe you would come on here and explain your numbers on aggregate or on average. This upfront pay is really not making any difference in anybody's lives, maybe except mine. Maybe all the pings only I'm getting in LA are shit, but maybe it's not. So please, people, go after the video, go to the comment section and put your numbers down.
Right here. I like Tony's comment right here. Upfront should not say 2302. It should say minimum 2302 and still owe you time and distance.
I agree, except that, Tony, we don't have time and distance anymore. That's the problem we have. See, I don't know what they're adjusting with. I need an explanation, Uber and Lyft. Please come on here and explain yourselves. Because you know what? Look, I'm not trying to pound on Uber and Lyft, but when it's time to pound, you got to pound. I mean, it's what are you adjusting it? How you're adjusting it? This is all willy-nilly bullshit English to me. Significant, I'm not willing to drive significantly more to get an adjustment, or a lot more in both language. So I'm like, hey, explain yourselves, because look, people are just going to turn down trip after trip after trip because now they see the destination. Now they're making better business decisions as opposed to before. So
exactly,
we'll see what the battle ends. But I don't like this. I don't like the pricing. I love seeing the destination, but I don't like the pricing at all.
I made a live video of Lyft charging.
Oh, remember that? Do you remember that one I sent you today?
Yeah, that's the one we saw. So
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. You know what? Game and Tech, if you want to email me, shoot me an email, chris@therideshareguy.com, and I'll get back to you later. But yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And for those who, we'll talk about that real quick. For those who don't know, basically it was two phones that were put together. He made a ride on the passenger app to go to, I think it was like Newark Airport or something, and it was charging him $242. And then he got the ride request to come in on his driver app, and they were offering him like $45 or $50 or something. So what's going on there? And then here's the other thing too that I would love to know on the back end. If that ride was completed, obviously it wasn't, but if that ride was completed, how much would they have shown that they would have made versus not, like on the passenger seat? Now, Lyft doesn't do that. They do that weekly aggregate crap. Probably one of the reasons why, but yeah, pretty crazy.
You can still figure it out. If you just did that single trip, you can still figure it out. But I mean, we're gonna hit on that next week, the take rate, and I mean that's another issue that's a hot topic. But today we're only on upfront screwings instead of anything else. And I'm really baffled that it's so difficult for this amazing algorithm they created to figure out that I drove an extra couple of miles and adjust upwards. Because I know why they're doing this. They took away the miles and minutes, and now they're able to put all this language in there, a lot more, significantly more, all this stuff, right?
That's exactly, but that's the whole thing. It's the murkiness, it's the cloudiness, so they can adjust it to where they want. So
shady shit.
Like I said, they can adjust it, and they could be pulling the same numbers, time and distance, but then they could say, okay, well, let's lower it, 5%. And
how about this, Chris? How about this, Chris? How about the upfront? I accept, right? A week ago, Lyft was 80 cents a mile and 12 cents a minute in LA, and everybody knows their base rates, okay? And Uber was 60 cents a mile and 21 cents a minute. How about this? How about we don't make it complicated, okay? I accept the upfront, right? Anything that goes over that, thank you, sir. Anything goes over that, how about they adjust with the old mile and minute rates, right? Simple. I mean, that's a simple thing to put in the algo. You know what I'm saying? So if I have 2 extra miles, 60 cents a mile or 80 cents a mile, that's $1.20 or $1.60 in either platform, right? And if it takes another 10 minutes, adjusted by the time, yes, the original upfront, let's stay with your wonderful 70 things figuring out in a black box algo. But if it gets extended, then pay me with the times and minutes that you took away from a couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. So to me, it's like we need to come to the bottom of this. I mean, shit, I'm gonna talk to whoever I can talk to at Uber and Lyft. This has to be explained because again, with our nickel and dime process, right? This all adds up, bro. This all adds up. It's millions and billions and trips and millions and billions of dollars we're talking here. And my car is my car. It's not your car, sir. Okay.
And that's the whole thing. You a nickel here, a nickel there, a nickel following, that all adds up, and that's, compounding, because you're going 10 cents now, then 10 more cents down the road. That's now 20 cents compared. Then you're going 30 cents. That just all compounds then.
Yeah.
Anthony, yes, I'm a Buffalo driver. Somebody in the comments. But yeah, this is something that we got to watch out for, and this is something that we were kind of warning about when it comes to it. Is if you start accepting all these trips, it's going to tell the algorithm, hey, let's price it a little bit lower. Let's continue trying to see how far low we can get drivers to accept the rates before they won't accept them.
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing where they said, both DK and Jay-Z in Harry's interviews, both of them said that if drivers are not accepting rides, that's on them. They have to reprice the rides. Right now, they are 100% underpricing rides.
100%. And we're gonna run the video, and I have my calculator here on my cell phone. I'm gonna do a live for you people to see how many of those trips I got paid less than 2 weeks ago when I had miles and minutes. So there's no bullshit. Whoever's watching this, right here, I'm gonna tell you what that trip would have been 2 weeks ago before upfront showed up. Why should I be making less money? You told me it's revenue neutral. Show me how this is revenue neutral. On every trip, I'm losing $2 than 2 weeks ago. How am I going to catch up? How much? The longer the trip goes, the less money I'm making. How's this all going to be revenue neutral? Means the short ones are going to pay so much more?
That's the whole thing. Them saying it's going to be revenue neutral and my numbers that are comparing, I'm going to go after my numbers. I'm not going to go after you saying something because we've all heard them lie out their ass.
Yeah, numbers don't lie, bro.
Comes to speaking. I mean, like this is a prime example right here where that email, we're giving you upfront pay to give you more transparency, but you're making it so much more cloudy by how you figure that transparency out. So how are you doing that? That's not more transparent. You're just giving us something so you can, hide everything else behind the curtain on the other side.
Well, they're looking at this, Chris. I know they're looking at this as, look, we're giving these drivers, destination of the passenger. In exchange, we're giving them a haircut. No, bullshit.
No.
Let's go to the next one.
All right, so we're gonna keep it with Lyft.
Oh yeah. Another wonderful. Honestly, can I announce something today for everybody? And the whole. I've been in this rideshare game for like 7 years as a driver, delivery driver, rideshare driver, whatever you want to do. I have 9 apps on my phone, and these companies have been around 12 and 10 years. 12 in Uber's case, 10 in Lyft's case. I'm announcing the winner of the rideshare competition today. It's Uber. Lyft, you're dead. You died. You're gone. So now I'm telling you, Lyft is whoever is a Lyft fanboy, send me all the hate mail. Sergio at RideShareGuy.com. This company from the first day has been following Uber, and now they can't catch up anymore. And as of, we'll see what happened to the stock after the earnings today. I think they're on their last legs. Yes. But we'll see.
So what we're talking about, what you see on screen if you're watching, if you're listening to the audio, or if you're not watching but listening in the background, basically, Lyft has come out. We're going to be talking about a little bit more during the earnings segment, which is going to be coming up next. But right now they're taking on-demand chat, which is going to replace in-person support, and they're laying off 13% of their workforce.
Yep.
And there's a lot, like their stock tanked yesterday after that abysmal earnings call. It went down 15% or something like that.
Like 10 and change. 10 and change.
Okay, 10 and change. So
down 23%.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. So Lyft. I mean, I don't know if they're priming for Elon for a buyout or something, but I know his money's tied up in Twitter.
Elon don't have any money left. But so you guys all know about this wonderful on-demand Lyft support, right? Where you just about got the attention of a goddamn, supposed agent with some fake names, most likely. Search Club for life. No, that's going to happen, bro. I'm telling you. Wait, you just wait there. So they have these wonderful hubs that you can go get, like an airport placard printed, some deactivation issues. You can talk to a human, right? Well, the chopping block comes down. They're closing all those hubs that they had because the drivers don't need any support, right? I mean, why should they need any support? And then now you have to deal with that, what is that called? Mouse on a wheel. So just when you get the attention of an idiot at Lyft support, they go, hold on a second, I'll be right back. And then 3 minutes later, and the new guy shows up, and the whole shit starts all over. By the way, I'm working on a national story with this coming up with Dara Kerr. I mean, if that doesn't wake Lyft up, I don't know what's going to wake Lyft up, but that's going to open some eyes. What these Lyft agents, on-demand chat agents, who are replacing actual humans who can actually help you at a goddamn office. So if you guys are really that desperate for cash, bro, let go of some of your high-priced coders, man, because these coders are writing some horrible shit here, cutting driver pay. I mean, listen, it's not working. It's not working. Stock price is your scoreboard, 10 and change, bro. I mean, hey, I don't know. I mean, let the misery end. Uber won. I'm telling you, I'm not an Uber fanboy, but Uber won. I'm telling you, there's no ifs or buts. And the reason for that, they even lost the million, subs. I mean, imagine that. They're losing market share. Well, of course you're losing market share. Look at these prices. This guy that just, super chatted us. $242, you're charging the passenger, paying the 44, paying the driver 44. Hey man, people are awake.
Mhm.
They're not stupid. They're watching. They're gonna bust you.
Yep.
And 10 and a half. Please don't go buy Lyft stock thinking it's cheap. Something can go down 50%, infinite amount of times, not hit zero. That's from my Wall Street days to you guys. So there you go.
Oh yeah,
So I don't run it either.
So, actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that question until we do the earnings segment next.
Okay.
But just to let you know, so basically what this is, on-demand chat replaces in-person support. Starting today, 24/7 in-app support will replace in-person help at our LA hub. This is not just in LA. This is going to happen elsewhere too. The Driver Center and Express Drive locations are still open for now. Chat with our support team to get issues resolved quickly. Our goal is to make it even easier for you to get the help you need anywhere, anytime. But Sergio, you just said like 5 minutes or 2 minutes ago, you put in a thing on their chat, and then 3 minutes later, it's somebody else. Oh, I can help you now. No, I was talking to somebody else. I can't even pronounce their name, but I was talking to somebody else. And now I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the original person. So,
well, Chris, I have 17 pages of Google Docs. It's on my Google Docs that Dara has, that a driver dealt with Lyft support for 28 hours to get his streak money.
Oh, wow.
And they did not give it to him.
Yeah,
but this kid was smart. Yeah, I told you about that. So that's coming, bro. I mean, if that, and then they go, oh, no more humans. We're just going to do chat support. Okay, wonderful. There you go. Whoever's driving for Lyft right now, seriously, people, cash out immediately. No, but all I know is,
you know what? Here's I don't see them going now. You know what? Again, talk about that in the next segment. First, we'll talk about that in the next segment, which is Lyft earnings. So let's get right into that now. So Lyft earnings just happened. Everything is just sunshines and rainbow right now. Look, Lyft has one superior feature right now over Uber. One superior feature, and that is stay within area. That's it.
Yep.
The thing is, I thought with upfront pay that you could accept a ride and you would be a-okay to take that ride because that's the ride you accepted. Nope. That's not the case. We'll still reroute you to some other person that you didn't want to take the ride for, and then you have to cancel the ride. I mean, it's not going to count against you, but still, it's not going to be what you want to do. So yeah, that to me, right there, I just don't like. I do like the stay within area feature, and if they actually had some bonuses in my area, which they don't compared to Uber, another thing they lose out on. So how I think it was maybe the first or second week I made that analogy where Lyft is the little tree that never got sunshine. Well, Lyft is getting uprooted too because they're not getting enough water. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Yep. No,
all right,
they're not. I mean, bottom line, stocks down 23%. Today, again, they're down to 10 and change in a new all-time low. Look, they made it. I listened to the conference call yesterday. Listened to John Zimmer. Listened to Logan Green. They listened to the CFO, and they're all making it sound like, yeah, we're on our way to profitability. I'm just going to point to a couple of little things because I don't think we need to harp on this too much. Okay, so middle screenshot, third paragraph. The ride-sharing company ended the quarter with 20.31 million riders, short of analysts' prediction of 21.3, and still below the 23 million it had the quarter before the pandemic struck. Guess where Uber is at with those numbers, Chris? They have surpassed those numbers. They have way surpassed the pre-pandemic numbers, and look, again, I'm not an Uber fanboy, so don't send me shit, please. But financially, analysis wise, Uber is a better situation if you had to buy one of these two stocks. I'm not telling you to buy or not to buy. So people are not gravitating towards Lyft for some reason or another. I mean, they missed that by 1 million, and they're still short of 3 million before the pandemic levels when Uber's business is fully back on. Except that on the third screenshot to the right, look what it says there. It says Lyft earned $51.88 in revenue per active rider. Guess what that is, Chris? Rip the passenger off, beating analyst forecast $49.30 and above the 45.63 per active rider in the same quarter last year. So they were able to stiff the riders another $6 and change without passing it on to the driver, to you people. So,
Oh, of course.
what, this game is
Well,
going to end. You know what
maybe
this game is
they've
like?
gone even more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, this
again,
game is going to end. Look, this
but
game is going to end.
you missed the sentence before that. It said Lyft made more revenue per rider after a year-long driver shortage pushed ride prices to record highs. Drivers have been coming back for many different reasons, and yet there's still. So that just goes to show you that they're still underpricing rides on the driver's side when it comes to this upfront pay, and they're charging passengers whatever they want, and people are doing it.
This game is going to end, though. Okay, the revenue growth is coming in both cases by the way, Uber and Lyft. So whoever is an Uber fanboy now is going to hear it because I listened to their conference call a week ago. The only reason the revenue is growing is because they're able to charge more and pay less. At some point, that's going to end, people. Okay, so be realistic about Uber as well. So they're both not growth companies. They're in shit businesses, unfortunately. Except that this new algo that they're running, the double algo they're running, is brilliant on their part, and they're squeezing every dollar they can get out of the passenger, and they're squeezing every dollar they can get out of the driver. So, I mean, look, man, with the macroeconomic conditions, I don't blame anybody getting out there hustling and trying to make a couple $100 extra a week, okay? But, without, being a willing participant, they're actually helping these companies, to be honest with you, because next week I'm doing a study now on oversaturation and how many goddamn drivers there are when I drive. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Every corner has 8 drivers, 6 or 8, whatever they show on their app, 8 Lyft, 8 Uber drivers, including me, 16 drivers at every corner of LA, bro. So people are desperate. People are desperate. People have to go out there and drive. What are you going to do?
Yeah, desperate times.
Norma, here's my Norma. Norma comments a lot, and I want to hit that comment. As long as it's cheaper, it's not cheaper than a cab, Norma. Check your cab rates in your city. It's definitely not cheaper than a cab anymore. Definitely not in LA anyway. So yeah, it's not the cheapest alternative any longer. Because,
it depends.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So Lyft is not
so
well.
we had Uber's earnings last week.
Stock went up 10%, and Lyft earnings came out. Stock went down 20%.
Yeah. So now here's the thing: where do you? I mean, both earnings reports came out significantly different across the board. One shows something positive, the other one shows something negative. Lyft has also came out and said that they're laying off 13% of their staff. So that's a significant thing right there. I mean, several layoffs are happening across the board, but they are. And, the thing is, where do you see Lyft? What do you see for Lyft going into the future?
Lyft, as of yesterday, had 1.8 billion in cash, and they started drawing on their 400 million credit line, or they established one. That's finance jargon, meaning that if they're desperate, they can draw on that. They're burning cash still. Company's worth about $5.5 billion as of today's closing price, which is a bargain. I think somebody will come and swoop it probably at 15. $7 billion for all the data that they have. Probably Waymo, Google, I think is going to be the suitor. Doordash doesn't have the money to do it, and I don't think they will. But at some point, I think they'll be taken out, and Uber will be a monopoly at that point, to be honest with you. And I think then the drivers may benefit, because then Uber can charge whatever the F they want to the passenger, and then maybe they'll throw some bones to the driver. Well,
let's be real. They won't do that.
But I mean, at some point, right? Lyft has to end its suffering. I mean, I don't. I like certain things that they have done. Instant pay was their invention. Actually, they've done decent things, but they've always been the second place. And they actually contributed to the driver's suffering, because when there's two competitors, there is a race to zero, right? Uber would cut rates, Lyft would cut rates, Uber would cut rates. The drivers suffered a lot because there was that competition race to zero between these two companies. And at some point, it's going to end. And if Lyft has a couple of more quarters like this, and at $10, stock is cheap because they have $2 billion in cash. So out of the 10, like 3 is in cash already. So you're paying $7 for enterprise value and all the data they collected the last 10 years? I mean, if I had the money, I would buy Lyft and fire half of those. I'm not going to say.
Well, I look at it a little different. I think having the competition is good. Having two major platforms, it'd be better if there were at least three on a national scale, or at least more options that drivers have the ability to. That's something that's going to be sustainable, and of course, like I say, something that's scaled, not something that is in one or two markets. Like that isn't going to affect the majority of drivers. But with that being said, I think they're going to, you have the option where you can multi-app. You have the options where you can go on one platform or the other. If something happens to one for the time being, you can go on the other. Like if you got suspended or something for some BS report or whatever it might be, you could go and drive on the other. But the problem is if you only have one app, because let's say Lyft decides to close doors, well then I don't see that as being a net positive for drivers. I see that as being a net negative, because you don't have that second company there. I mean, who knows? But
Norma, I'm going to answer one more Norma's question. He says, Sergio could correctly rant that they both continue to lose money. Please explain how they have the ability to pay drivers more. Norma, if you know anything about reading financial statements, please go read their financial statements. Uber lost $1.2 billion last quarter, and Lyft lost $458 million. 70% of that was stock-based compensation, meaning there is a thing called cap off. When the stock price keeps going down, you have to issue more stock, okay? Norma, please go read those. I understand those things. Hopefully you do. And that's why they're losing money. And it's not because they cannot pay the drivers more. About 7 years ago when I started driving, my split was 80-20. Then it went to 75-25. Now it's 50-50. And now Uber is complaining about, by the way, Lyft's number one complaint in the quarter that contributed to the losses was insurance settlements. They were complaining that premiums are going through the roof, just like Uber did. They're just talking the same shit. So I'm like, Norma, go read those, and then we can discuss it on the side. Sergio at the RideShareGuy.com. Their losses are not coming because of the drivers. The drivers are not contributing. Actually, without drivers, there would be no revenue, actually, Norma. But, at some point, look, Norma, if you're happy with what you're doing, what you're earning, and you're a special case, I know who you are, and I've read your comments, but it's not for everybody. There's people who do this full time and depend on it. And, all these schemes that they're pulling out with upfront screwings and things like that is not funny. And I'm going to call them out. And, what am I going to lose here? I have nothing to lose. What are they going to do? But my thing is educate and inform, and you can take it any way you want. But that's the answer to that, Norma. Thank you.
Now, I got one more question before we go on to our main bulk of doing upfront destinations and all that analysis. But if you went and had the Seattle model with the Seattle pay rates, where you did not see where you were going, meaning no upfront trip destination details, you just knew that you had the time and the distance of that particular rate, or what Washington is, would you prefer Washington's rates over being able to see upfront destination?
Absolutely.
100%. I agree.
No doubt. Because the upfront came at 60 and 21, and now I'm making 53 and 18. So, honestly, when you're making $1.50 a mile, okay, we should run that poll. Would you drive for $1.50 a mile and 65 cents a minute? Haha. Everybody would say that. And would you accept every trip? I would accept every trip. Promise you, Uber, Lyft, I would accept every trip. I will become the biggest Formica on the planet. I will not even look at the trip screen. I will just keep pushing. Accept. In fact, Uber has auto accept. Uber has auto accept. I will push auto accept. Just give me anything you got at $1.50 a mile and 65 cents a minute. I am purely profitable. Especially if I'm driving an 8-year-old Prius. Holy crap, I'm swimming in cash. Send it. Yeah. Don't give me quests. Just leave the surge alone. No quests. No bullshit carrot and stick bait and switch games. Give me those rates. Give me the, unjust deactivation protection, and give me the surge. If it surges, gravy. If it doesn't, I'm purely profitable at $1.50 a mile, 65 cents a minute. Period.
Agreed. All right, let's move it to the bulk of this. And this is kind of where we're talking about upfront destinations, upfront trip info, what you want to look at. This is kind of the bulk of it. This is going to be talking about, underpricing these rides, paying attention to what they're doing. We're starting to get some screenshots from other people that are showing some of the things that we're trying to test. So, it's just adding up all together. So we want to make sure that you guys know exactly what's going on, what to look for, and all of that good stuff.
Okay, I'm going to put a disclaimer. I don't want any, I get hate mail anyway. I don't care, honestly. This is what I want, people. This is Los Angeles. These are my screenshots. These were taken certain times of the day, which are on the screenshots. The full transparency here. Again, I am not saying every driver is like this. That's why, please, after you watch these videos later on, drop a comment saying that, yes, Sergio, I tested this. When I drive, I put everything on a spreadsheet. One side of the spreadsheet is the new upfront. The other side is run by 60 cents a mile and 21 cents a minute. It's an easy spreadsheet. You don't have to be an Excel professor to do this. Just put it in there, run your totals, and you'll figure it out. Which is better, upfront or the old miles and minutes? That's under the assumption that everybody remembers or knows or knew their miles and minutes in their city, because a lot of drivers are oblivious that they don't even know their base rates in their city. But so here's a trip that showed up the other day. Would I do this trip? Most likely, yes. Why? Because here's the thing with this upfront, people. You got to watch this. Okay, I'm in LA where it surges quite a bit in morning rush hour. Do you guys see this? It says 2702, 495, 13 included. I have to drive 5 miles, 12 minutes away to pick up, which I'm not getting paid for. The trip I'm getting paid for is 20 miles about in 25 minutes-ish. Would I do this trip? Yes, I would. The fact that 38 minutes, 27 bucks, squeeze another one for 12, 14, 40 bucks an hour, no problem. I'll do it. However, here's the big however. In the old days, when this ping screen showed up, it would say plus 13. It would not say 13 included. Now, if I took the 13 out of this 27, I'm left with $14.02. Now this trip looks like garbage to me. The reason being, now if I figure this trip out by its old merits, old, not own, old, at 60 cents a mile and 21 cents a minute, this trip by itself would have paid me at least 17.5 to 18 bucks plus the 13, which would have been 31 to 32 bucks. Now, here comes the beautiful algo. Bundle everything in. Throw the surge in, throw the boost in, throw whatever we got in here, and then we come up with 2702.
Yep.
I just made $5-6 bucks less than I did a week ago if this trip came as it was with a $13 surge. So, hello. So you guys got to wake up to this. What's happening is there's a clear trend in the last 2 weeks that I discovered. If there is a high surge on a trip, the algorithm is lowering the base to maybe 40 cents a mile and about 15 cents a minute. That's a given. And if there is medium surge, it's keeping it about equal. And if it's low surge, it's giving you certain higher base rates. But this is something you guys need to watch. Don't jump on this just because it says 2702 for 38 minutes of work and 25 miles, which is over $1 a mile. Now the surge is included. And Luis, let's see what you say. Give us okay. So
go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, Luis. But so this is one of the occasions that with the under upfront screwing scheme, you got to watch. If you're lucky enough, like I was, to get a 13 surge, you have to now do more math. Figure out, well, first you got to do the math simply. Would you do this trip or not? By the way, my apologies to Uber. You guys will see on the video coming up, short video. Uber ping lasts 10 seconds, Lyft pings last 15 seconds. We timed it.
Yeah.
I used to say 6 to 7 seconds, although it really, really feels like it's 6 to 7 seconds.
All right. So you brought that up. I'm gonna talk about this. So
okay.
The ping screen on Uber, yes, it's 10 seconds. The video that's playing right here, you will see it. You can look in the corner in the screenshot where it shows the recording. You can actually see The moment that a ride request comes in to when it ends is 10 seconds. Now, I'll tell you why it does not feel like 10 seconds. First off, it takes 1 second, almost. It's almost 1 full second from the time that the ping request actually pops up on the screen until you hear the actual ping come in. So that that doesn't actually play until almost a full second. It's 23 frames in a 30-second video. So it is almost a full second. It's like 0.7% or 70% of a second or whatever. But yeah, so right there. And then if you're not paying attention, if you're on your phone, let's say Lyft is open on top of Uber or, another app or whatever it might be, for the amount of time that it takes you to scroll over to Uber, you've lost 2 to 3 seconds already at that point. That's why it always feels like it's much shorter than what it is. So 6 seconds. So yes, it is actually 10 seconds that is there, but that 10 seconds is not true because, again, if you're not paying attention to your phone for whatever reason, you miss off that first second until you hear that actual ding. And then it takes the time for you to hear it, for the time for you to respond, to look at your phone, and then either switch to the app. That can be another couple of seconds right there. So yeah, it's going to feel like 6 seconds versus 10.
So from 2 weeks ago, Chris, until upfront showed up, this trip would have made me $32, which was absolutely no brainer. I would have taken it anyway. Today, I would still think about it and take it. Before, I would just glance at it and click on it. Today, I would use my full 10 seconds to figure this thing out. Because this trip would have paid me 32 to 33 2 weeks ago. Now it's paying me 27. Still a doable trip on the border for me anyway. But it's taking me what I would not want to go. So I did not take this trip. This was on Trip Radar. As you can see, 3 people are watching this, and I'm sure somebody's going to jump on this, but it's a haircut. It's a haircut of $5-6, $4 or $5-6. So,
yep. When you look at when a ping request comes in and on Trip Radar, because the Trip Radar and the actual ping request when it comes in is a touch different. So when you see this Trip Radar, what do you train your eyes to look at to make the most informed decision on the short amount of time that you actually have?
Just like the regular ping screen. I mean, this is pretty much identical to the ping screen without the map. So what I look at personally speaking is obviously miles to pick up, miles to destination, time to pick up, time to destination. And if it fits my parameters, and for me, it's $1.50 a mile and about 40 cents a minute. If it fits my criteria, I'll accept it. However, in this case, look, do not look at the big number. The big number is the dollar number. That's the carrot, right? That's what they want you to look at. And 10 seconds goes really fast if you just look mesmerized by that 27:02. Okay. The fact that is 25 and a half miles and 38 minutes without any, traffic jams or whatever not, which on this trip it wouldn't have been. This is a doable trip in LA. For me, I would take this trip on because I know where I'm going. And I would squeeze in another $10 trip in morning rush hour. That's $35 to $38 an hour. It's doable, but it's going to be 5 to 8 less than 2 weeks ago. And that's all there is to it. I would have done exactly the same thing 2 weeks ago with the plus 13 in addition, not included. And I would have made $42, $44 an hour. So it's okay. So if there is surge, they reduce pay. So there isn't no surge, then you get the regular garbage rates that you were getting most likely, about 60 cents a mile, 21 cents a minute in LA. As much as they say the algo is based on how much demand there is and how many drivers are around you, where you're going, we figure all these things in. I honestly don't think so. I think it's just miles and minutes. They just packaged it in a different way. So yeah, this trip is one of those. So if I think I would still do this trip though. If I was quick enough to click on that whack-a-mole Trip Radar.
All right, let's get the video then going.
Yep.
So just in full transparency, if this video, I shortened up a lot of things. So in the waiting time between Trip Radar and between ride requests coming in, I sped up the video in certain parts, but other parts I actually kept it at real time, so you can see how crazy sometimes it can get and overwhelming, which Sergio, I'm sure we'll talk about in just a moment. So I just want to let you know on that some of the things are going to look really fast,
All right. So this is my house. I'm at my house. It's surging nicely, and surge baiting. There's trip radar. Boom. I just looked at this. This is a decent trip. I would do this because although it's a long pickup, I still do it. 13, but without the 13 included, Chris, where would this trip be? Think
that'd
about
be
it.
$4.77.
For 10 miles and 27 minutes, it was going to pay me $4.77.
Nope.
Think about
Yes.
that. Think about
But
that.
with the surge though,
With the
that does
surge,
make it-
questionable, yes, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Here comes the ping. All right. So again, 13 included. Okay. I would do this trip just for the fact that it's keeping me where I'm at, near my house, right? I know the address, I know the zip code, and that's where I'm at. That's the pickup point. With the up arrow is the pickup point, as you guys know. With the down arrow is the drop-off point. It's taking me to an area that's business rush hour, morning rush hour, schools, as well as business. People are going to work. It's going to be surging there as well, so I can probably pick up a very similar trip, going another couple of miles. But you take the 13 out, people. Okay, please do your math. That's $3.74. I'm getting paid for 25 minutes and almost 9 miles, 9.5 miles of my life. So this is what's happening, people. Please pay attention to these ping screens. Please pay attention to this. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, when it was 60 cents a mile, 21 cents a minute, this trip would have paid me more. Now they're bundling 13 in there, and I'm not liking it. I really am not. So there's the first ping. Go ahead.
So yeah, this is, and then if you look, like when these come up, like I said, you can look in the top corner where the record number
one
is.
of them will let it run through and see the clock.
And yeah, it's 1 second, so that's 1:23 when it started. So we'll give them that. But again, like I say, the difference is 2 to 3 seconds. It comes down. It feels like 6 seconds.
I would definitely take this trip on as well. I don't like long driving pickup miles because I'm not getting paid. But where it's putting me in my city, I know what's happening there. If I didn't take the first one, the 1777 one, I would definitely take this one. 25 minutes for $20. It fits all my parameters, mileage wise. 8 almost 2.5 a mile any day, all day.
So
yeah, William, surges are helping me out because without a surge, look what they're paying for this trip without a surge, $6, bro.
Yeah, but so here's the thing though. This is a couple of things that you've been saying so far going through this. You say, I look at the destination. I know where it is and the time I'm at. This just goes to show you need to know your area. You need to know your market because you're going to be able to strategize better. You're going to be able to see a ride come in and say, look, this is a good ride and it's where I want to go.
Absolutely.
Or this is a good ride, but that's not where I want to go because now I'm going to have to either deadhead back or, whatever it might be. So again, it's you want to know where you're going to end up as well. And you need to put that into your decision-making process because it's going to help you, be able to get more ride requests to come in versus having to deadhead. So
that's not going to Pacoima H&M, that's going to Arleta. But long story short, you got to play chess, not checkers. If you accept everything because you saw 1933 for 25 minutes, it's fine. But if this was taking me, let's say, to Santa Clarita, which is way up north, then I wouldn't have taken it. But so yeah, I mean, you can always cancel. But once I take on something, I'm going to usually do it. If we accept them, the algo thinks we do these without the surge. No, the algo is lowering the base fare. If there was no surge on this, the trip on this, I'm pretty sure it would have paid you maybe like $7, $8 maybe. So the algo is lowering, seeing the 13 and giving you only 5. Sergio, this job is slave labor. Stop glorifying these strategies. The companies suck. Well, I'm not glorifying anything, but I think you're getting the wrong impression altogether. I call it the way I see it. Actually, I'm one of the only people that calls it the way I see it without being too negative or too positive. So this is not glorification. This is explanation, information, and education. Thanks for the comment. My acceptance rate from wow. Is it 3 or 30, bro? That's a drastic change.
90 to 3 or even 30. That's still a good one.
30 is
We're going to be talking about acceptance rates in just in a few minutes.
yeah.
So
You did the poll,
save
yeah?
all that. We'll try to highlight some of those
All right, here comes the
once
next
we
one.
get there.
Here
All right,
comes
let's
the next
move
one.
on to the next couple
Okay,
ones.
this thing is over. I love that wonderful sound. See, Sergio's not going away. Here comes trip radar. Definitely a doable trip. 100% would have taken it.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
can speed up to the
that one's
next
not
one.
bad. Even if you take it away, even if you take that $13
Oh,
away,
absolutely.
that's still
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. See, the algo is just figuring this out. Like similar lengths, similar trips, right? One is 25, one is 19, one is 17. And they ping me with it too. They ping exact same trip, the one that was on Trip Radar, right?
Mhm.
Definite 100% yes category, right? So
I like the birds in the background too, Serge.
oh yeah, bro. When it's surging, it's wonderful. When it's not surging, it's shit. I didn't take it. They put the trip. They put look. The first they shot it on Trip Radar. They pinged me with it. I didn't take it, and then they put it back on Trip Radar. It's the same damn trip, by the way. Same exact trip.
Yep.
There you go. Definite yes.
What's up? Yes.
Definite yes.
Yeah.
No brainer. This is how we make $40 in LA, people.
Earlio
Otherwise-
says that Uber ping sound. I have the urge to check my phone. Yes. Anybody? Actually, quick note. If anybody's driving right now, please pay attention because yes, we are going to be playing the ping request sounds and trip radar sounds a little bit right now at least for this segment. And then it'll be back to normal. So again, if you are listening, just make sure that you know, so you're not like going back and forth between your phone and whatnot. Just to clarify everything, so we don't have people all over the place.
Yeah. So this one actually, I'm driving. Here comes the pain. No surge.
So.
Okay, so by the way, in LA, minimum Uber fare is including the 55 fuel surcharge, which they have not taken away yet, is $327, and Lyft is $262. Believe it or not, that's what minimum fares are in LA. Uber's is a little bit better because of the actually $375 now, just because of the 55. Otherwise, it's $327. So no go. I wouldn't touch this trip. I don't need to drive 3 miles to pick somebody up that's going a mile for $4.27. Not gonna happen. Next one. Yeah, there is not the problem, bro. Yeah, 262. Okay, I'm driving. This is what I'm dealing with. I'm sick with this shit, by the way. Here comes $175 included, Chris. Hold it for a minute. That's okay. Keep going. Don't worry. Yeah, $175.
There's so many rides coming in.
Yeah, this is what I'm going through, people.
And again, like I say, some parts are sped up, other parts are just that's how it's coming in.
Yeah, look at this trip. Look at this garbage, right? $175 included. So if you take the $175, it's down to $4. 5.3 miles away, $1.89. I mean, 2 more miles to drive for $4 freaking dollars. This is the new upfront, Dara. You're definitely not pricing trips correctly, bro. Definitely not.
And that is why
Somebody will
acceptance
touch it.
rates have
Even
gone
if you
down.
touch it. I don't know. Maybe somebody touched it.
I don't know.
Continue.
You know, I'm kind of surprised though that one ride with the $13 attached surge didn't get picked up, where it went on Trip Radar, came ping request, and then back on Trip Radar.
Yeah. Look at this shit, bro. You know, I picked the day with surge and I picked the day without surge. I mean, minimal surge for LA. This is nothing. Yeah, look at this one. Boom. Yeah, doable trip. But look where I need to go. I need to go 5.5 miles to pick up, another 5 miles, 23 minutes, 32 minutes, $17. I probably will do it. Just taking it to Pacoima. It's okay. It's morning rush hour. I'm not gonna die. But $175. If you take the $175, it's 15, right? I'd do it. I mean, because I'm bored, I'd do it. Look, my rule of thumb is I don't drive in the valley too much. I drive in the city when I'm driving. In the city, There is not a goddamn chance I'm driving 5.5 miles to pick up anybody. Here are my rules: 5 minutes, mile and a half max away. If you're further than that, I'm not coming to get you because I'm not getting paid. And under this new system, it doesn't seem like you're getting paid anything anyway. So let's move on.
Hold on, Body, you saying we should organize a nationwide strike?
Doesn't work, buddy. Doesn't work.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes too. We'll add that to our thing, because there's something that's actually a much better idea, and it should actually change some things, and it's not.
So this is why we're showing you guys these. Okay, I'm showing you this for 2 reasons. One, that's upfront shit's not working well. Number 2, train your eyes differently. Number 3, don't accept every garbage that they throw you. Please don't do it. Please. So I keep driving. There's trip radar. Three trip radars. Okay, can I give Uber credit on this one? If the car is moving, the trip radar is not blocking your screen like it used to. I just made this happen for myself, okay? The trip radar is a little window on the bottom. You have to click on it to open it up to see what's available to you, okay? So to Uber's credit, in the old days, even when the car was moving, this whole screen would be blocked, and I don't know where the fuck I'm going. So, these 2 trips, of course, I didn't do it. One is being watched by 5 people. The other one is being watched by 2 people. No go. I'm not going, look at the first one. I'm not going to drive 9.6 miles to pick somebody up. I mean, come on, people. And then here comes the wonderful thing. Look at this one, Chris. $2.25 included. That's $4. I got to drive 6 miles to go without mile 89. Come on, who would do these? Please stop doing these.
And you're looking at 20 minutes.
Yeah. Stop doing these. Don't. Please don't. Anyway, can continue. Those are the same ones, so go forward. There comes trip radar.
That's probably the most annoying sound that there is now, is that trip radar.
Out of everything, this may be doable, but still, I got to drive 3.8 miles. Look, the average rule of thumb should be you should not be driving more distance for the pickup than it is the duration of the trip, okay? That's the rule of thumb. Why would I drive almost 4 miles to go 2 miles? It doesn't make sense, unless where you're ending up is really, really profitable area, right? I mean, you don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is a no-go. There it comes. Yeah, I keep moving. Another wonderful trip. Look at that. I got to drive 3.5 miles. They'll probably ping me with it any second. There it goes. They just showed up on trip radar. Yeah, look at that first trip. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
They ping me with this. Half hour for $13. No, sir. Thank you. Have a nice day. These are miserable prices, man. These are miserable prices, man.
Yep.
Do you have the one you did, right? You got the, yeah, look at these. None of these are goes. Look at this, the first trip radar trip. $4.50 included. That takes me down to $9. I got to drive 15 miles, half hour for $10.
Yeah.
Look at this pickup 10 miles away. Are you freaking people serious with me? There's no driver closer to this guy than me. Come on, man. Get your shits together, man. Yeah, man. RideShare this one. All those trips are junk. That's why my acceptance rate is like single digits. All right. So think about this, Chris. You have the one that I'm multi-app, right? Demand is high. Go back online. I'm like, no, give me a fucking good trip so I can go back online.
I like that. Yeah, it's funny because you go through that, and that was probably about 6 minutes, and in actuality, it's cut down to like 3. With speeding things up, just so like we weren't sitting here waiting. But yeah, you get off and you just go offline. And it's like, no, come back online because demand is high.
It's busy.
There is one thing though that I did notice, and that is that you did not get kicked off for not accepting rides.
Nope. Did not. I did not. A lot of places,
people
people are getting kicked off after 3. I think I let go of a shit ton of them. Okay, this is I'm multi-apping now. Both apps are open. Uber, that's the Uber thing in the back screen. Lyft is very slow. See, that just showed up. So I have it set up that it just shows up. I click on it, open the screen up. There you go. No go. This is a base fare. It's a comfort on top of that. It's a base fare comfort trip. Look at this price, Chris.
Oh boy.
This is half hour, bro, for $8.28. Dara, it's not the right price, Dara. This trip should be minimum 15 to 17. Hello, your algo is screwed up. It's not pricing correctly. I'm going to decline another 1,000 in a row if you keep doing this. For fuck's sake, bro. Look at this, man.
Bring down that oh boy.
I mean, seriously, bro. Look at these things, man. $4? $4?
15 minutes. And that does
$4, and people complain, oh, you're in
here.
LA, you're swimming in cash, you're always making money. How am I making money with this, people? Yeah, now I'm switching apps, put Uber up front to see a couple of these garbage things. I'm like, look at this trip, bro. Look at this trip, bro.
Look at this. An hour it'll take you for $16.
Yeah,
and that's
bro.
with the
Look
dollar.
at this trip, bro. Who does this? Who is doing these trips? I will find you. Do not do these trips. Who pushed on this trip radar? 2 people are watching. Who does this? This is 1 hour of your life for $16.57 with a $1.50 surge included. Gross. Take a gallon of gas out, you're down to $10. Maintenance wear and tear, you're down to $8 for an hour. Is your hour of life worth $8? Stop doing these trips, people. I don't care what your quests are. There comes Lyft.
There we go. Upfront pay.
Yep, upfront pay. FYI, upfront pay on Lyft screen is a little different than Uber's. You noticed that, right?
Yep.
Because there's no address or anything. It's just how far it is and then how far I am from the guy or whatever. I'm like, yeah. There it goes. At least, Lyft's speaking surges a little bit. There comes another garbage up top. I'm like, this is it. Look at this. Look at this.
There you go. 20 minutes.
20 minutes for $6. Are these people really aware of what they're doing out here, Chris? I'm serious, bro.
See, that's the whole thing. They're looking at it at the price and they're like, oh, $6, great. But the thing is,
bro,
they're not looking at all of the info.
This is LA. What the cost of living we have here? $6 for 20 minutes? Please, people, go get W2s. Crazy. Go get W2s. Please, go do it. This is not doable. This can't be done. You can't make money doing this. Like, shit.
And that's outside of surge zone too.
Yeah, but surge is there, surge is not there. You just got to figure it out. This is 8 a.m. by the way, Chris. 8:09 a.m. There's the trip. Okay, would you do this, Chris? Oh, I'm Lyft at the same time. Now I'm all bundled up now. Okay,
now we can figure it out. Do you want to do the Uber or not? The Uber
I'm gonna push it forward. Don't worry. So I'm gonna push it forward. Yeah, this is what I go through when you're multi-apping, people. Although I have 2 phones, by the way. Usually it's not like this, but.
Oh, I gotta say, since Sidecar came out for the iPad, oh my God, I just put it on the side so I have Uber and Lyft on both. So they're both on the same screen. Oh my, it's so nice that way because you can actually see between both.
People, don't get yourself a garbage Android. Please don't get. I mean, look, Chris doesn't like it, but get an Android. Put it like $100 Android. Download the app. That comes.
Here you go. How do you multi? I mean, I've had this a couple of times too, but how do you multi?
I'll just flip screens. Look at this trip, Chris. Look at this. 36 minutes, bro.
Oh man.
I'm like, I honestly, it wasn't that I was willing to do a trip. I just can't do these. I just won't. I'll go hungry. Here's another one. 38 minutes, 14 miles almost for $10.70. Dara, did I mention the algorithm is fucked up? This is not a price, bro. Okay, you know what? Let me play devil's advocate here, okay? I'm going to do this at 60 cents a mile, 21 cents a minute, what it was 2 weeks ago. Let's see what this would have paid, okay? So forget the 10-minute pickup, 3.4 miles. Okay, here's a simple trip. 10 miles. Let's say 10 miles. That would have paid $6 2 weeks ago. Okay, by miles, $6. And let's go with, instead of 28 minutes, let's go 30. Okay, Chris, that would have paid another $6.20. 620 plus 6 is 12.20. Today upfront comes at 10.70. What kind of haircut is that? Is that nickel and dime? No, that's $1.50.
No, that's dollar diamond.
That's a dollar diamond right there. 2 billion trips times the $1.50, Chris.
Yep.
Yeah. Please don't do these trips. I'm just showing you what not to do here. Okay. There's another one. Don't.
More people are looking at
your
it.
life is worth more. Yeah, just no good.
Yes,
Honestly,
right
I
there.
was not out there just
40
to,
minutes.
I was not out there to take screenshots, bro. I was out there to drive. And I'm like, honestly, I cannot do these. I will not do these. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, those fares are insanely nuts. Jonathan Clayton, this is LA, by the way. Like when I write, I made $40. They go, you don't know why. This is LA. What's happening in Houston? What's happening in San Antonio? What's happening in Tampa? I wonder what the prices are there. So please, after the show, go to the comment section and drop your notes, drop your comments. Because this is LA. This is me. Maybe they're picking on me because I do the show. I don't know. Yeah, this one. I'm not making these up. These are there comes. Oh, by the way, if it's a shared ride, Lyft doesn't show you the destination. You know that, right? You notice that one on this one?
Yep. Luckily, I don't have shared rides, so I don't have to deal with that.
Who took that crap fare? Exactly, William. I don't know. Somebody did. Desperados. Tony, Troy, stop saying Desperados. We got the idea.
And the Formica.
Yeah, and Formica. Yeah. Look at this. This is me driving with double apps for like I was like, screw this, I'm going home. At least I'm not too far from home. There you go. Look at that. Look at this shit. $4 for 20 minutes. Are these people serious? Uber, are you serious?
Well, see, this is serious? You know what they're trying to do. You know how earlier you had said that they will, if you're doing rideshare, you'll never touch Prop 22 money. They're making it so you'll touch Prop 22 money.
Oh, with those, you're definitely getting Prop 22 money.
Yep.
I'd rather not get any Prop 22 money. I don't want that dirty money. I just want my money. I want to get my money. I want to make $40 an hour. And this way, there is not a goddamn chance I'm making $40 an hour. Yep. What's the per mile rate, Sergio? We don't have per miles anymore. But 2 weeks ago, it used to be 60 cents a mile and 21 cents a minute, Jonathan. Look at this one. I'm like, I give up. I gave up that day. I was like, okay, you guys got me. You got me. Please, I give up. Stop beating me up. I give up. That's when I took over flexibility and freedom, turned the goddamn app off. Here you go. Okay.
Yep.
Hey,
that's a crazy little one right there.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. Money loser, for sure. I can calculate this for you guys with what it was 2 weeks ago, a week ago before Lyft came out. Look at this one.
That one.
Okay, let me go back to the Lyft one. Let me calculate that real quick. Let's see what it would have paid.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. So 28 miles times 80 cents a mile. That was 80 cents a week ago. That's $22.40. Okay. Plus 67 minutes times 12 cents a minute. This trip would have paid me $30.44 before upfront. It's paying me $2 less. Just because it's upfront. Why? I don't know. So Lyft, you're not pricing trips correctly either. And this does not, by the way, this does not include the 10 minutes that I'm going to drive away. That they're 10 minutes away. So the total job is going to be 77 minutes, not 67 minutes.
Yep.
I'm like, nope, thank you. Have a nice day.
Well, that is That's
my upfront adventure. I'm not liking it, people. If you like it, please drop a comment below after the show. Tell me your upfront stories. Tell me if it's a haircut for you, because for me, it's definitely a haircut. So this is my conclusion with upfront. Okay, well, let's be done with this. There's definitely a rate rebalancing towards their pocket. There is no revenue neutrality. 100% is not revenue neutral. So this is what I discovered. If you do really, really short trips, those 347 trips, right? There is no cut there, and maybe you're making a nickel more or a nickel less.
Are not pricing rides right.
Hold on. Sorry. We will
Okay,
we'll put that on in a
the
second.
medium trips, there is about a 6% haircut. Medium to longer trips, 8 to 10 mile trips, 10% haircut. And anything after that, it's going sequentially higher, 10, 15, 20. And then on the 40, 50 milers, look at this shit. It's going, yeah, it's a haircut, people. Okay. So, but if you don't believe so, tell me, drop a comment below. So
Yeah.
these are the two
Not only
different
that, the other thing, it's really easy to make a spreadsheet for what you need. All you have to do is you just plug in your per time and mileage rate, and you can plug it in and you can actually see the difference between the old way and what you're going to get paid for the upfront. So you can actually see where the price drop actually begins, because they always said it was going to be neutral, revenue neutral, but the problem is that's clearly not happening. But again, if they're lowering across the board,
but look, Chris, I mean, I want to be totally upfront. This is me. This is LA. If there's other LA drivers who are getting better trips, knock yourselves out. Please go make the money. Also, people are going to come and say, yeah, okay, Uber most likely is going to come to me and say, yeah, but Sergio, you did not figure out quests. You did not figure out boost. I'm like, sir, I don't have those. If I did, I would have figured it out. Okay. If I had a quest, and we know where quests are today, 80 trips for like $40, 50 cents a chip, that's not going to make up that difference. Okay. So please, Uber, please explain this to me. How this upfront is revenue neutral. Please explain it to me. I'm an intelligent man. I love numbers. Please explain it to me. Come talk to me.
And the other thing is, I don't even want quests or bonuses. Get rid of them. Put them into the fares for each ride. There is no reason that there should be any quests or promotions. The only reason why they did that was to go from the 80-20 or the 75-25 and cut you down another 30%. And then that bonus and promotion that they were going to give you would have been to make up that 75-25. And that was the whole reason. But since then, it's transitioned where you just said, I think mine, I don't remember what mine is. It's $50 for 80 rides or something. So yeah,
Shit,
it's
there you go. How's that going to make up for it? Look, it's $2 a trip. The longer the trip goes, right, the higher the haircut you're getting. Okay, how's that 50 cents a trip quest is going to close up that gap? It's not gonna, right? Because I mean, look, man, if you're doing this full time, which I don't, again, if you're doing this full time and you're getting this kind of haircut on each trip, 5, 8, 10, 12, and on the longest trips, 20 to 30% haircut, quests are not going to make up for that. You're making less money. There's absolutely no doubt this is a fair cut. So wake up, smell the roses, people. This is what
and then the other thing too is how many drivers don't get those quests or promotions. So immediately when they put the quest promotion bonus structure together, that cut out so many drivers' bottom lines, because that just cut back their rates. And that was the time when they went to time and distance.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a fair cut to me. So Uber, please come and explain it to me. Please have one of you guys show up here. Whoever decided on this, come explain it to me. Yeah, go ahead. Explain this.
Here's another. This is these screenshots right here. You can see they're 5. It's a 5-minute difference. So that means this ride went 5 minutes in between this driver, and this is in, I believe, Orlando. So you see on the left, the first ping request comes in at 2:23, and that's at $7.63. It's a 14-minute trip to pick the person up at 6.4 miles. It's a 12-minute trip total for pickup to drop off for 4 miles. Then 5 minutes later, same trip comes in for 90 cents more. So this confirms how they're going low end. They're lowballing. If you ever look at a deal, if you look at the art of a deal, negotiation, the one party wants to get it as low as possible. The other party wants to get it as high as possible. And then you meet somewhere in the middle. That is how a deal is going to happen. So some people might go really far on outlying to try to get, even more than what they want, but we're not going to get into that. Either way, what Uber and Lyft are doing is they are lowballing offers on purpose to see who will accept them. And this is then going to become the new normal. If you continue to do that, if you don't
If you
continue
keep taking these, if you keep taking these people, they're going to not raise prices. The algo is never going to learn. And that's
so
not,
would you rather, even right here, would you rather get paid 90 cents more or 90 cents less? That's what it comes down to.
But
I'm not
Chris,
saying,
look at this trip, Chris.
I'm not saying it's a good
10.4
trip.
miles, Chris. 10.4 miles for $7.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good trip. What I'm saying is, like, you cannot accept every single ride and then just drive on charity. Like, you're here to make money. That's the point. You're doing a side hustle. You want to go out and make money. So you need to be able to accept the rides that are going to make sense. If they don't make sense, don't accept the ride, because it's telling the algorithm, I will not take this ride. It's your negotiation. We as drivers actually can truly negotiate how we want to get paid at this point. And they both said it. And I'm talking about DK and Jay-Z. They both said it. They're using machine learning algorithms. We can teach the algorithm what we want to see. So they actually said in the interviews, I went back because when I did that short, which I'll play in a second so you can watch it if you haven't. But what they both said that was not in the short was there's going to be a little bit of time where they have to work out the hiccups. Okay, I'll give you that little bit of time. We're in that trial phase. I'll give you that. But here's the thing. That's also a trial phase that says, hey, are we going to retrain our drivers to accept lower so they're getting a pay cut? Or are we going to work out where we're going to say all of these acceptance rates drop like we did in our poll, which we'll show you guys also the results and talk about that in just a minute? Or are they going to say, okay, acceptance rates are lower, we need to price better? So then they're going to readjust the algorithm and give the proper pay that's supposed to be. And that's going to be so much better to do. If you do not accept rides that are not worth it, meaning if they're lowballing you, let them slide. That person that is trying to get a ride is going to complain because they're not going to get a ride. They're going to go to Uber, they're going to go to Lyft. Uber and Lyft, they're going to have to look at it and say, well, we priced the ride wrong, we have to fix it. So we're going to up the rate. That's the only way. Strikes will not work. Why? They just won't. There's no way you're going to be able to get a strike.
The Phoenix Gal asked, here, answer that question, Chris. Phoenix Gal says, anyone getting info on the planned strike via RideShare Professor? Look, Thorsten is a good friend of mine. Let me tell you something. Only about 3% of people or drivers participate in the strikes. Here's the problem, okay? There's 3 million drivers in the US. As the biggest channel out there, our reach is only 130,000 subs. His is 55,000 subs. If you put all these rideshare channels together, it's not even 250,000 subs. Even if all those 250,000 go on strike and turn the apps off, and I've done these strikes do not work. The reason is because, yes, it plays good on the media. Yes, you guys go to LAX, which I've been there at least twice already. They come talk to me, this and that. Strikes don't go anywhere. When these people in corner offices in San Francisco are figuring out these evil algos and throwing it on you, and then you have drivers who are desperate because of macroeconomic conditions, they keep taking these trips. They're going to keep doing this, period. This game has not changed. Strikes don't work. They make a lot of noise. If you want to make noise, hey, man, I can make noise. It's not a big deal. I know all the top journalists in the country. I can call them up and have them all meet me at LAX. It doesn't work. What will work is not accepting these trips. Do not accept these trips. Fuck with the algo. Do not. Because if you keep accepting these $4 trips for 20 minutes, they're going to keep feeding you that shit. Don't accept. Just let it slide. And that's the only way. That's the only way this will work. Strikes don't work. However, if you guys want to do it, we'll go meet you guys somewhere at LAX or wherever you guys want. Talk to some media, and then let's see where it goes. It's just strikes don't work. If it worked, it would have worked by now.
They don't. And the other thing too is the majority of drivers that are driving don't even know that there's a strike going on.
Exactly.
In reality, there's not, you don't have the ability to reach everybody. It's not like, you know, a strike at the railway, or a strike at a union, or, you know, a teacher strike or anything like that. It's not, they don't have the same organizational effort. The thing is, though, you can say, look, I'm not taking that ride. And whether there's two ways that they could look at it. They could say, okay, this market is what we're going to price this at. The acceptance rate has gone down. We have to adjust up on a market or city-wide basis. Or it could be potentially a driver on driver. So 3 drivers in the same area might get a ride request coming in with 3 completely different prices for that same exact trip, based on several factors that they've, you know, keyed in. And this is something that we're going to try to find out, if they're doing it on a city basis, or if they're going to do it on an individual driver basis. So yeah, there's a lot more that we're going to figure out, and a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. But with that being said, let's talk about a couple other things. First, what's up?
No, I mean, I'm just going to say, you know, strikes don't work. However, they make noise. But if you want to really make a change, don't accept. Don't accept. Let the passenger wait times go through the roof. And guess what happens then?
Acceptance
well, maybe we'll have to adjust these trips. Okay, there you go.
All right,
don't
so
accept.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the. If you watch this short, cool. If you didn't watch this short yet, this is gonna be straight from their mouths, saying if drivers are not accepting rides, then they are pricing it wrong, and it's on them. Both of them say it. Watch
Uber and
this.
Lyft are not pricing rides right. How do we know?
If we're doing a really good job pricing, and essentially like we price the trip right, your acceptance rates will naturally be at a high rate. And by the way, if it's not,
right here,
we're getting pricing wrong. That's our fault. It's not your. If you're not accepting a trip, then we're underpricing it. Then we got to like correct. Then the algos have to understand it. Price it better the next time.
Basically, if we're seeing people not want a ride, like I said before, that means that we need to pay more for that ride.
Now, according to our poll, almost 70% of people have seen their acceptance rates go down, which means that people are not accepting those rides because they are low ball offers. Now, make sure you head over to our YouTube community tab, vote in the poll whether you have had your acceptance rate go up or down, and we're going to go over the results on Tuesday's Show Me the Money Club. So what does this mean?
All right, so with that being said, where is everyone's acceptance rate? So thank you everybody who voted in this poll. If you did not vote, or you want to share what your acceptance rate is, this is the time to do it. Please let us know in the chat. So for everybody, for the 180 plus people that are watching right now, first smash the like button, then go in and
please help us out. I mean, Chris, honestly, I'm so frustrated with this upfront shit, bro. I'm gonna have like a fucking stroke looking at this shit, bro. I'm telling you, people, you have the power. I'm telling you, people. I'm just begging you, people. I know your family needs food. I understand you need to make $100. The only way these companies are going to learn. Okay, last time I checked, man, if I don't take that burrito to you, you're going hungry as a consumer. If I don't take you to LAX, you're gonna go miss your flight. We have the power. The only power we have is actually the one that's given to us by these people. It's that freaking off button. Either turn the app off or let it run and don't accept trips that you're not profitable. Period. That's how you change the game. Please, I'm telling you, people, this is economics. This is business. Do not do money losing trips.
All right. So High Spy says, I thought I saw them say, since we have the option to choose if we want the trip, it won't affect its acceptance rate. It won't. The difference, the thing is, we're not looking at it from a driver standpoint. We're looking at it, how is Uber and Lyft's system working when it comes to these lowball offers? Are people accepting them? So acceptance rate is not going to have any issue when it comes to that, High Spy. It's more so, you know, this is where the machine learning algorithm now needs to take a look at this and says, out of 432 people that did vote, and if you want to go vote, vote. You could change how it is, but we're seeing a lot of people with low acceptance rates already. And it says 14% say the same as before to now for their acceptance rates are staying the same, 14%. Great, cool. But 67% of people said their acceptance rate has gone down since upfront fares and upfront pay came into their market. That is a big problem. Do you know why? Because drivers are not saying we're going to accept this ride because it's a shitty offer. So the machine learning algorithm needs to take a look at this and say, we're pricing rides wrong. Both Dara and John said it straight from their mouths. They need to fix this. And that shows you. I said before, I will accept 100% of rides if the rides were correctly priced. They're not. And so 5% have said that their acceptance rate has gone up since upfront fares. And then 15% of people in the poll said they have not had upfront pay or upfront earnings in their markets yet. And then just going through a couple of these people, William says went from 90 to 30%, 7% in LA. That's pretty low. Sig says 96%. Well, congrats on that. Hopefully you're getting good.
That's BS. I have a P226 Sig. That's BS. 96%. You goddamn Formica.
Yeah,
anyway.
20%, 3% right here. 53% don't accept anything under $30. 21% acceptance rate for RideShare leases. 15%.
Are you watching this, Dara? Are you watching this? You should be.
Yeah. High Spy 4%, 12%. So right there. 87%.
Are you all right? You had a crash.
Jersey
You had a crash last week. Hopefully she's okay.
Here we go. Acceptance rate 67% to 31 on Uber. 6%. Actually, that might be 56%.
Ryan.
60%.
Okay.
So this is what everybody is saying right now when it comes to their acceptance rates. For the majority of drivers, 65 to 75%, we can say with certainty that they are not accepting rides because it's such a low offer. The only way you're going to be able to do that is...
Can you put that Jonas is...
this one?
Okay. 92% making... You're not making 22 a freaking hour. You're making 22 gross, less $6 minimum. You're making 16, probably less. So, Jonas, how about this? Why don't you cherry pick for just 1 week and you can go back to 92% again if you like. Let's see if you make more than 22. Just cherry pick, that's all. Just my suggestion. I'm not telling you to do it or not to do it, but just try it one week, okay? And you're not making 22. Please, people, stop. I'm making this. You're not making shit. You're grossing. You're not making anything. You're grossing. Gross revenue. Deduct expenses. Net. That's what you're making. And that's not even what you're making because you have other expenses. But let's go with that. So, yeah, please cherry pick for a week, Jonas. Let's see what happens. Maybe you go from 22 to 26. And that's a big difference, $4 an hour. If you're driving 40 hours a week, that's 160 a week. That's 600 a month. That's 7,200 a year. You didn't do anything. You still were out there 40 hours. Yes, it's disgusting. I agree with you. Brian Johnson, he says 6%. You win the cake, sir. I'm at I think 12 or 22, or I don't even know. I was like, at this point, I gave up on all this stuff. All I want is I want the algo to adjust because pretty soon I'm just not going to drive because these prices are not drivable. I mean, whoever's driving for this, God bless you, man. Obviously, there you go.
Yeah. I'd like to say, look, hey, if a ride you feel is worth it, take it. And again, we don't want to speak for those who need to take rides based on, you got to put food on the table. I get that. I understand. But the thing is, you also need to know your worth. And that is the biggest thing. Do you want to take $3 ride that's going to take 25 minutes to complete and you're actually losing money on that because you definitely burned over a gallon of gas? This is the thing here when it comes down to it. You gotta make sure when you go out there, you are working smarter, not harder. And that's going to be the strategies. That's going to be, cherry picking. That's going to be doing different things to make sure you and your worth is actually met. And that's the whole thing when it comes down to, you can accept everything from here to under the sun, but you're cheaping out on yourself at that point because you're accepting lowball offers that you shouldn't because of whatever reason. But again, that's something that you gotta watch out for. Know your worth when it comes to this. And if it does not make sense, don't take the trip. Pass on it. And hopefully at that point, the algorithm starts adjusting. Like I said, they said it's going to be some hiccups for a little bit of time. I don't know why it's going to be taking this much. I mean, we just did the math. 67%. Well, we'll see.
When Zach was on, right? I asked, why do you keep doing this, right? Because flexibility, freedom. So here are 2 comments. Hi, Spy. Are you all right? By the way, I know you were in an accident. Okay. She goes. The first comment was, I put $70 worth of gas every day, and then the second one is, I don't even make 100. Then, hi, Spy. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Why are you even in a car? First comment says, I use a whole tank of gas, 70, and I don't even make 100 most nights. Okay, what's the purpose of you doing it? Are you charity? Are you, what is it? You need like tax write-offs with the mileages you're driving? I know you were in a rental, so you don't have that either. I don't know why people do this. I don't understand it. Look, again, I'm recommending to be more selective, although in your city, things could be different. In LA, I could be selective because there is trips galore. But if you're in a smallish kind of city, and this is the only thing you can get, I understand, but you can change these patterns. You can get drivers together and turn your apps off for at least at certain times of the day, stand together, because that's the only way. Strikes are not going to work. None of this stuff is going to work. I mean, look, so to me, please just, quality over quantity for me, but then every city is different. I cannot talk for anybody, but I think at some point, we got to call the way it is. And this is not charity, please. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's, we did our whole spiel with upfront earnings, talking about that. Obviously, there's still more layers to this onion that we're going to peel back over the next several weeks, especially when we try to get our testing done when it comes to how this algorithm works in real time. So we're going to be doing that. Let's move on, and we'll wrap this up pretty soon since we're already at 2 hours and 15 minutes. So ran a lot longer. I had a feeling upfront would go a lot longer, but that's okay. So we
can finish here. We can finish here if you want. But to me, the important thing is we gotta educate people that this is what's happening, at least here with me only. Again, only me. If it's different for you, God bless you. Do the best you can. But please, this is the first time I'm asking you. Just put in your comments, Sergio, it's a 10% haircut for me. Please don't bullshit me either, because I know what's happening in the country. I know what's going on. This is a 10% haircut for me on a 10-mile trip. It's a 12% haircut. Please do your numbers. Do the spreadsheet. This is not that difficult. You know what? Screw the spreadsheet. Take your calculator out. You know your miles and minutes. You know what the upfront came in at. You finished that trip. It's on your weekly earnings, right? Weekly details. Click on that trip. This trip would have paid me last week before upfront started this much miles, this much minutes. You know what it is. Multiply and put it on, handwrite it and make a list, and let's see if you made more or less, and then send me a response in the comments saying, you know what? Since upfront started, I'm making 12% less or 20% less. Okay, there you
go. Since I know you have this number, and you may have it handy. If you don't, that's okay. I want you to do this then for next week. If you have your numbers, what was your old rate to new rate for the rides that you've taken, and what is the percentage difference, or even the actual dollar amount?
I made
16%. Do you know the dollar amount?
I don't know. I look at percentage. I made 16% less. So if that's going to stay 16, so if I drive $2,000 worth, then 16% is going to be $320. So, but to me, percentages are important. Overall, in aggregate, I made 16% less since upfront. That's me. Again, me, only me, not a big sample size. I know Uber is going to say Serge is full of shit. It's not a big sample size. I know, I'm telling you, it's me, LA, my trips, period. Hopefully it's not like that around the country, but I have a very sneaky feeling that it is as bad or worse than LA, because LA is their top market. They cannot screw too many people. And, I'm like, to me, I hope it's better in Tampa and in Miami or San Antonio or Houston, Atlanta, DC. I hope it's much better. Okay, that's it. Hopefully it's better. If it is better, do your numbers. Send me an email, Sergio@RideShareGuy.com. I will love to put it on. That there is a guy with upfront, they're making more money now. That's it.
All right. Well, let's end this on a high note. Again, we like to highlight side hustles, and this is one of them. We'll end tonight after this, just because, you know, earning up to $150,000 a year from a rental side business.
Yes.
With
This
nice
gentleman,
cars and
was
jet
in the
skis.
military. He was in the military. He served his country. He saved his money. Okay. And, thank you for your service, sir. Then, while he was in the military, he saved his money and he liked buying toys, like, a boat and a jet ski, couple of cars, right? So then he quit the military. He was done. He retired. And then now he goes, well, I have all these toys. I can't drive them all at the same time. What do I do with these things? He says, well, now he's renting them all out and he's creating himself $150,000 a year. He has a Tesla as well. He just bought one. With the money that he earned, he just keeps buying new stuff, right? And he keeps renting it out. He's like the Airbnb, people buy condos and rent them out. And this guy is doing it with all his toys, jet skis, motorcycles, cars, whatever comes to mind in a moving vehicle. This guy is renting them out. And there you go. He's making himself $150K a year. So that was his side hustle. He worked hard. Obviously, he risked his life for his country, but now he's getting rewarded. All kudos to you, sir. And, again, our goal is to inform and educate. This rideshare thing or the delivery thing, it's wonderful when it's wonderful. Okay. However, you have to have a plan B. This guy risked his life probably for 20 years, did God knows how many tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, came back, all his pieces together, and now he's enjoying his life with his side hustle. And he had a plan B. He goes, if I don't get killed in Afghanistan or Iraq, I'm going to rent my freaking toys and make money. Well, your goal should be the same. If I just save my money and then work for a plan B, that's why the gig economy is good for. Again, gig economy is great for people with a plan B, or for a bigger, because this is not a full-time gig. I mean, I seriously drove for like 3 days to take those recordings. I honestly wanted to drive. I wanted to do trips, and I saw that, and I'm like, I can't do this. It's giving me anxiety. I just can't. There was maybe 2 trips doable out of those 25 pings I got, bro. I mean, come on, man. I'm like, come on. So that's it. Please, people, pay attention to your side hustle. Save your money. Work for towards your plan B, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be this, but we give you ideas every week. And gig economy is wonderful for certain people with the flexibility and the freedom it offers, but also think of your future. It's not something that you can do it for years and years and now.
Yeah. How long? I mean, that's the thing. How long do you think driving rideshare food delivery is going to last? So, if you want that freedom and flexibility, hustle. Do a little hustle. What's your passion? What do you think about? And this is again, like, the reason why that we want to highlight these different ones is for inspiration. And if you're inspired to think of an idea that's similar to this, or even something like this, or any of the other side hustles that we've mentioned in the past several weeks, it's just something where you can say, hey, this is my idea, and you get that fire going and you start up. And you work towards it, and that's the true freedom and flexibility when that thing starts taking over. If you can get it to that level, and then driving rideshare and food delivery, and that's great for the supplemental time in between, and the ability for the freedom and flexibility is great, because if you have to do certain meetings at certain times, or if you got to do something else at other times, you can squeeze it in when you can, so you can still pay the bills but still follow your dreams. So with that being said, what other side hustles do you want to see or hear about?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to pick a couple of good ones. Sorry, Mr. Gambit, we got to meet one of these days. I keep seeing you in LA. I'm passionate about this. I want drivers to make money, but under these circumstances, it's really tough. I mean, I can't spend half hour of my life to make $8. I honestly can't. It doesn't make financial sense. It just makes no sense. So Dara, Logan, John, please come to the show. Explain me this adjustment shit that you guys significant and a lot. I want one explanation there. And look at these screenshots. these prices are not being, priced correctly. Please tell your algo to learn faster, because I want to have goddamn stroke doing these things. Okay, please. These are not doable trips, man. And this is LA. God knows what it is in other states and cities. I'm like, now I really actually want to move to Seattle now. Have an acceptance rate of 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a 100% acceptance rate. I really wouldn't. That means I'm making money. But right now, yeah, it's definitely dropping. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching, hanging out. It was a great show. Awesome, Sergio. And yes, we will have more when it comes to peeling back the layers with upfront earnings, upfront fares, because again, it's a brand new system, and the transparency that they allow is the ability just to see the pickup and drop off locations. But in actuality, they made the water even more muddy. So we're going to try to clear up what we can, figure it out, and call them out for this. So yeah, let us know, Sergio at the RideShare Guy. Send your screenshots, send your Excel spreadsheets if you can, or if you have questions on creating one to actually rebuttal. We would love to hear that too. So
please tell me next week. Somebody send me an email, screenshots, or a spreadsheet saying that you're full of shit, Serge. Since upfront, I'm just swimming in cash. Please. Yep. I'm dying. Okay, here we go.
Well, again,
Thank you,
out of the poll that we just did, almost 70% said they're not accepting rides. So you could probably infer that they're not making as much either, because of the lower ball offers. So I don't know. I can't speak for that though. Maybe we'll try to do more. But then again, cherry picking can help you earn more. Not like what Lyft had said, accepting every single ride.
Yeah, that's. Can you believe that they put that there?
God.
They're like, yeah, accept everything. You'll make more money. You know what? Maybe they know. Maybe they know that, people are not going to accept. They're just going to sit there and not even get trips. Like Sergio is not going to do any of these, so he's going to go hungry. So we're going to force him to accept these trips now. Maybe you know what? I should do a test of accepting everything for a week.
Go for it.
Everything.
Let's see those
No,
numbers.
that would give me cancer, but I will just for you guys. I will do it.
Yeah, do that, and then we'll run the numbers so we can see.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
I like that idea. All right.
Yeah.
We got still 150 people watching. Smash the like button if you haven't. Let us know you're enjoying. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. And make sure you subscribe if you're not already. I don't know why you wouldn't be, because we have great content every single day coming out. So make sure you're hanging out. And again, if there's any questions or anything, you can always reach us. All right.
Yes.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.